All right. Okay, hello. I'm Froob. I run, would you believe it, a lot of Yakuza games. would you believe it, seeing this is a Yakuza game? This is the first turn-based Yakuza of the series. I did submit Infinite Wealth as well, but I'm a little not great at Infinite Wealth at the minute. Me and that game are not getting along, to put it bluntly. So we're gonna do Lad. We're gonna get right into this quite quickly. If this run goes well, which Lad runs tend to not these days, then we'll be saving about 30 minutes on the estimate. As a heads up, there's going to be a lot to talk about, especially at the start of this run, because there's a lot that goes on under the hood with this game, and if you're watching all the cutscenes for this chapter, this takes about 2 hours if you're doing this casually, and the speedrun will take less than 8 minutes, so there's a lot to talk about. So we're gonna get started. I'll give you a countdown on time. 3, 2, 1, go. That's actually meant to be after that block, but I keep forgetting that legendary first aid kit exists. We don't allow it. It's technically DLC because it's not actually in the Japanese version, but it is in the Western version for some reason. So we're just like, with how frequent death is at the end of this run, it's just not allowed because it's just an unfair advantage for like one region. But yeah, this is Yakuza Like a Dragon. This is the 7th mainline game, technically the 8th if you also count Zero, which I do because that is a mainline game. And we have a brand new protagonist who these days is pre-order DLC man, Ichiban Kasuga. He's basically the main star of the mainline series now, with all the turn-based games, as said, this game and Infinite Wealth, and what will be LAD9 highly likely in 2 years' time. We're just chasing down somebody at this point. This is currently the last day of 2000. It's going to be going into New Year's Day 2001 during some point in this chapter. This is our only chase section in the game. This game loves throwing like random stuff at you and then not following up on it. RPG love having one chase section per game and then never doing it again. I love RGG for that. We skipped out on 2 QTs on the way here by doing precise movement, and then you just don't have to do anything. As long as you're not to the left or the right, you won't get a game over. But essentially, this is Ushio. We're going to be hopefully taking care of Ushio in a timely manner. There's a few discrepancies that can happen with a couple of these fights early on, especially this one. It shouldn't really affect too much, and if we get something bad, then it will only lose us a couple of seconds. That yellow number that first appeared is a crit. We like crits. Unsurprisingly, crits are good. That crit that happened there as I hit Ushio on the ground is called an opportune attack. Opportune attacks will always happen if you attack an enemy on the ground. This is going to be vital for early game combat, especially when we hit Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is going to be an extremely RNG chapter, but Opportune Attack is going to make it so that we can actually get a little bit of extra damage in. And by getting a crit, hopefully I'll get the damage roll that I need against Ushio, which is looking good here. Essentially, you can low damage roll and have to do an extra turn against Ushio, which means he gets an extra turn, and then you just lose 10 seconds. You'll always level up from the very first fight here, which is good. It gives us a new skill, which this game has skill shortcuts, so we can apply it to the up D-pad, and it's a skill called Tenacious Fist. We'll be using that a lot. It is exceedingly good, especially early on. So, essentially, what happens with fights, with this game, you cannot move in fights. You can in Infinite Wealth. So you have a little bit of extra leeway when it comes to Infinite Wealth's combat, a lot more depth to it. But with this game, it changes up in different ways. So your dialogue option here gives you kindness. You have kindness, or the other one gives you passion. We do not need kindness or passion for the run itself, but if we do that option for kindness, there is one extra option we can get for kindness with a option in Chapter 4 that will get our kindness to level 2 that can help us a tiny bit against being taunted. We will be talking a lot about status debuffs and stuff like that because, oh goodness, this game sucks about that. We're beginning even in this chapter, status debilitations like stun and fear are terrible, and they can lose you so much time. Speaking of losing you so much time, this is the second fight. This fight is weird. This fight is bugged, and it shouldn't be. So, the main guy in the middle has 36 HP, always. The 2 on the left should have 10 HP, but very often, sometimes, they will actually survive that Tenacious Fist, the first enemy. No idea why. Like, they just survive. They shouldn't do, but they do. So what the idea we're going to do is, for obviously the early game, we're going to be taking care of all the ads that we know. That's a shame. I was so that crit against this guy. We're obviously going to be taking care of all the ads where we know they're going to go down in one hit, because the less enemies in a fight, the less turns they get, the more time we save, etc. And as you can see, he's got 1 HP left. So, very unfortunate. Our average damage at the minute is 35, which is very important for the fight coming up next. Because with the next fight, the main enemy in this fight, Hirotsuka, he has 70 HP on the dot, which is obviously 2 of our averages. However, we do not want him to get to his second turn. If he gets to his second turn, we're in big trouble. But there's a lot of small little things that can shape, like, a lot of the fights early on, despite how simple it looks. Like, all we're doing is Tenacious Fisting. Like, and we're going to be doing that a lot. So, with Hirotsuka, we Tenacious Fist. We are hoping for a stun. Stun is a flat 20% chance to land. That's a higher than average damage roll, so that makes me happy. He will either finish his animation, which he did, and that's good, or any hammer enemy will either finish that animation or they won't. If they don't, you lose like 10 seconds because they stagger and stumble a bit and then fall backwards. It's actually not that great, but when they do the animation like that, it's perfect. If Hirotsuka managed to make it to his second turn, he would have used his skill Megaton Hammer. Megaton Hammer can cause you to get stunned, and if you get stunned, you can lose up to 30 seconds in that fight. So it is one of those where genuinely it gets kind of nasty. There's a lot of little fights in this, especially this early game, where unironically, we want an average fight like that. We call it a bog standard average fight because nothing happens. Nothing happening is better than something bad happening, and the odds of something bad happening are way higher than something good happening. So we get a whole bunch of story. This is Horonoichi. You won't ever see him again because he's only in that cutscene. He's kind of in the background of the game in story cutscenes that we can just skip, but we are essentially a low-rung Tojo clan member, Ichiban Kasuga. We are currently taking the young master, Arakawa Jr., as we'll call him, out for his birthday. He's wheelchair-bound until he uses a special drug that, was developed in America that allows him, use of his limbs, etc., etc. And this is going to be the turn of New Year's. So in this bit, I'm being very careful to keep an eye on my mini-map, because there are fight spawns that can happen in this bit. There's not too many ways to deal with them, unfortunately, but if you can get to your buddy Matsuo here with no fight spawns, you can see it on the right. That's perfect. That's really good. It's a good chapter 1 so far. Or Mitsu, sorry. Matsuo is a different game. That's Sawashiro. You'll see him later on. He's a pain in the backside. You'll see him twice later on, actually. So we now meet up with Arakawa Senior. Arakawa Senior is who Ichi considers his kind of father. He's like a father figure. He's not his actual dad. Ichi was found as a kid, as a baby in a coin locker. And then was then adopted by the folks at Shangri-La, which is the sloped-land on the east part of town, which if you've ever played the main series, you'll know that in Yakuza 1, Shangri-La was busted by a certain dude who goes by the name of Kazuma Kiryu. Never heard of that guy. So, the interesting thing about this bit with Arakawa Senior, there are no fight spawns. So, the interesting thing about this bit is that we have a feeling that the Arakawa might actually have a accessory on him that despawns fight spawns, but we actually don't have access to him in the party, and we don't have access to actually get that accessory off him, because it would be very nice if we could get that ourselves. Yo. That's weird. I can up it a little bit. I've definitely got it on my end. I've upped it a little bit. Can you hear it now? That's very weird. I definitely hear it myself. Hold on. Try this. Try this. I do believe that we have had some Windows 11 shenanigans that have changed my audio routing. Folks who know me know how much I very much vehemently love the operating system known as Windows 11. It's a great operating system with nothing wrong with it. Smiling emoji. Thank you, appreciate it. Sorry, folks, thanks for pointing that out. I did up the volume, so I'll lower it a tiny bit because I did make it quite loud there. Yeah, shout out to Windows 11. It loves changing my audio. I do not like Windows 11. So, the turn of the new year has happened. We're now here. I'm going to try this fight by going this way, because if we get knocked back enough, we can actually get knocked back next to one of the two bikes that are next to us. And if we get lucky, you can actually use the bike and hopefully hit multiple people, which, it's a shame. The guy on the right is the one that you ideally want to hit. Like, he's the main enemy in this fight. He's going to take more than one, like, normal attack or Tenacious Fist to go down. So, ideally, you can hit him with the bike and get a little extra damage out. This is the only turn where the stun from Tenacious Fist will actually matter, because this is the only guy that can, you know, survive one Tenacious Fist. Other than that, normal fight. Other than that, normal fight. It's what it is. Okay. So yeah, if you were watching all the cutscenes, you'd be about an hour and a half into the game at this point. We're obviously not. We're less than like 8 minutes at this point, because yeah, it's kind of ridiculous how much, because this is the start of like a new character in their storyline, you get a whole bunch of info dump at the very, very start of the game, and not a lot of gameplay. But the nice thing about obviously speedrunning is you distill it down to, like, you know, just the gameplay in its purest form, and it's just really nice. That's chapter 1. That is chapter 1. As I said, chapter 1 is very quick, and there's a lot to go over. Chapter 2 is going to have a lot more in terms of fights and a lot more in terms of technical stuff. But overall, not the worst chapter 1 for once. It is very hard to get a good chapter 1 when you're doing like top tier runs, because there's just so many weird little things, like, again, losing like 30 seconds to Hirotsuka that can just end your run completely. It's really rough. It's very nasty. So Ichi gets sent to prison for, well, he goes to prison for covering for the young master. The young master shot somebody, of like a fellow clan member, etc., etc., which, you know, obviously Arakawa Jr. would have gone to jail for that, so Ichi takes the fall, and now it's like, I want to say it's like 18 years later, I might be wrong. We're in a different jail at the same time as, again, that dude called Kazuma Kiryu is. No idea who that is. But essentially, we are now out of prison. We are in the graveyard where we see Arakawa Sr. That's a great start. This guy has Taunt. Stunning this guy on the first turn is amazing, especially if he stays stunned. Perfect. Great fight. Absolutely great fight. This literally saves like 30 seconds, I'm not kidding. Like, it's amazing how much time, like, stunning this guy actually saves. With chapter 2, this is the chapter where we really are going to want a bunch of fights where nothing happens. Because, unfortunately, there is just a lot of different ways that fights can go in this chapter, and you will lose so much time. And, like, you can lose up to, like, 30 seconds that first bit. Tenacious Fist is, like, almost double the damage of what a normal attack does. So, obviously, what we want to do is Tenacious Fist. So, anything that's going to stop us from being able to use, obviously, our strongest attack is really bad. Now, we don't have access to any AoE spells, and we're going to need an AoE spell in the next chapter. So, I went to Ebisu, which is the second-hand shop, and I bought myself the AoE spell Hand Grenade. It's the best spell you'll ever get. I love my skill Hand Grenade. It is great. This is where the old Arakawa family office was back in the day. You saw me go there in chapter 1. It's not there anymore. So we're going to head to Ichi's local haunts to try and figure out, you know, what's going on. This is like kind of like a really nice bit where some of like the world building of like the Yakuza series actually comes into play here. Because again, if you've ever played Yakuza 1, you'll know what happened to Shangri-La, which is Ichi's home. This guy has a baseball bat. Usually baseball bat enemies are really slow. This guy's actually not too bad. This guy's attack animation is actually pretty fast. Which is a shame, because we're going to get a baseball bat ourselves, and we're not going to be that fast. But yeah, the stun there doesn't actually matter that much, because he just attacks really fast. So it's not too bad. So we run over to the Champion District. We see the person we helped in Chapter 1 that gave us the kindness stuff. We're going to be running across the entire top part of Kamurocho here. Whenever we have to run across the map, we do have to be very careful of fight spawns. The way that fight spawns work in this game, they work the exact same way as Infinite Wealth. So if you've ever played Infinite Wealth and you see that really cool bar they added that shows you their kind of like aggression level, like determined on how much distance you have to them, it's the exact same system. So the further away a fight spawn spots you, the longer it will take to get into a fight with you. This is going to be important for many things coming up in this actual run. So I'll be reminding you of that when we get to those points, but it's something that they don't have a marker or an indicator for in this game. And they added one for Infinite Wealth, which is really nice. Like, I don't think anyone like asked for one, but it's genuinely really nice. So whilst I'm fisting these guys, this guy can taunt. If he does, it's actually not the worst thing. So let's talk about level ups. You have two types of level up. You have your main level up and you have your job level up. So obviously we're going to get into jobs a bit later on. So him taunting me here is going to lose me a tiny bit of time, but it's actually not the worst because you want to end this fight with a normal attack. Reason being is that we do not level up from that fight. If you level up at all with either a normal level up or a job level up, you will get a full HP MP heal. Now this is important in the early game, especially for getting level ups at the right time so that we know, you know, hey, what we can do with Itchy in terms of like his Tenacious Fists. And that's the reason why that fight right there has to end with a normal attack, because we don't have enough MP to get out more than 4 Tenacious Fists for the fight after this one. If we did, then it'd be fine, but we don't. So to make sure the next fight goes as quick as possible, you just want to end that fight with a normal attack. This is the run back over to Shangri-La. Usually you'll have a fight spawn at some point down here, but again, I'm getting some really good luck and I'm not getting one, so that's great. There are vending machines now active in this chapter that we can use to despawn fight spawns. We'll be using vending machines for drinks in a little bit, but not yet. Itchy sees that his home is really run down and destroyed. This guy is Adachi. Adachi picked us up from outside of jail. He's an ex-cop. He gives us our first smartphone, which, much like Kiryu, the parallels to Kiryu, Itchy doesn't know how to use a smartphone. He's been in jail. They weren't around when he went into jail. So, head this way. I'm going to see a guy called Nick. We'll get into Nick in a couple of chapters, because he's not super important to the story for now. This is the fight where we needed to keep our MP. The first guy goes down to a normal attack, and the guy on the right is the pain in the backside of this fight. He has the ability to cast Fear. Fear is back. You will see Fear in this run. That is perfect. We can get through this fight one turn early if we have high damage rolls our Tenacious Fist and we get a crit. That is low and it woke him up, which is unfortunate. So I'm really hoping that we either reapply the stun here or he just attacks, because that would be a bog standard average fight, and that is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. We'll take that. If we get hit with if we get hit with Fear, it's really bad. It can lose you up to 30 seconds per fight. Like, pretty much most status debuffs early on will lose you up to 30 seconds. So Adachi's going to join the party. Adachi's going to be our second party member, but he's not going to be permanent because we're going to lose access to him for a chapter. So, let's talk about escaping from fights. There's a big misconception about escaping from fights in this game, that it's tied to your agility stat, because, you know, that would make sense. It's not. It's actually a lot simpler. All it requires is you to have enough room behind your character. So, for there to be no objects or anything blocking you off. So, this is a bit bad because they saw me a little early, so there's a chance that this one isn't going to work. But you saw that I went a bit more to the left there because the tarpaulin is on the right-hand side. There are certain fights that you can actually start at a certain angle, like this one, where essentially when you run at the start of the fight, Itchy will always run either slightly left or slightly right or slightly backwards. When you start that fight that way, he will always run in that direction. No idea why, but it's just one of those, it's one of those little rules that you just like have to like learn and acknowledge. And then for the rest of this place, we usually have enough room to escape from fights. There's only one fight that is a little problematic to escape from. That is the one coming up after this one. So this one's nice and easy because you can just start in the middle of, obviously, the pathway here. You can see up ahead, there's, again, a little bit of blue tarpaulin on the left-hand side. That's the thing that we're going to try and avoid. I use the crowbar on the floor as a lineup attempt here. So I try and get, like, 1 feet to the just to the left. But sometimes the Dragon Engine just says no. But thankfully this time, we're all good. Now, one important thing coming up for Chapter 4, we cannot do the Chapter 4 set piece yet. Because we need to get ourselves a piece of gear in every equipment slot. So 1 headpiece, 1 chest piece, 1 leg piece, and an accessory. So because of that, what I picked up there, that dirty tentacly, that's actually a headpiece. So we'll be grabbing certain army pieces as we go through. We actually need a little bit of armor for this chapter. Hello to my special AoE attack hand grenade. We may have just gotten exceedingly lucky. We didn't. If you get very lucky, this guy will also walk into the actual line of the AoE for the grenade, and then you just take them out. You might wonder why I didn't attack with Adachi there. With Adachi, one, his opportune attack will finish him off, and two, if I attack that guy and knock him to the ground, we have to wait for the enemy to stand back up before we can hit him with Ichi. So, or before he takes his turn. As our shirt, we're going to optimize equipment onto Ichi to just put everything that we've picked up onto him. So now we have a good little bit of extra defense for this chapter. This fight is a little finicky at times. We do need a high damage roll out of both Ichi and Adachi. We also need Adachi to not go in between the guy on the left and this guy. That's a low damage roll, so I need Adachi to hit high. Good, he did. Ichi, if you could do, you know, a high damage roll this time, I'd appreciate it. Thanks, bud. Thank you. So, Ichi levels up here, Adachi doesn't. So, we keep an eye on Adachi's HP as we go through this bit. We need Adachi to basically survive 2 hits at the start of this fight, and then he can die, and it's fine. For this fight, again, the main enemy is going to be the one that we don't focus on at first, but we want Ichi to be next to the guy. So we're going to use Beatdown with Adachi, which is his skill, to go after this guy, and then the main guy should go after Ichi. Perfect. And the reason why this is perfect is because now Ichi's going to be facing this guy, and I don't have to change my targeting at all. No stun, which is unfortunate. Again, Adachi will take care of this guy. At this time, Adachi can die if he's like really low HP. It's fine. Ideally, he doesn't, because then we get in this extra, or this opportunity attack here, do a little bit of extra damage. If you're wondering why I'm changing up between Tenacious and normal attacks are a little bit faster animation-wise than Tenacious Fist. They're a little bit quicker to get out, even with the skill shortcut. Do not start skip that text box right there, because it can crash the game. Again, one of those weird little intricacies that you just have to keep your eye on. This fight is the biggest RNG fight of the chapter. It's kind of terrible. Both of these guys can taunt, so you are likely going to see taunt again. The only way to get past it is to just stun the both of them, so you just have to get lucky. What I will normally do is just take care of one enemy, because it will just make it go a little bit faster. I should probably leave both alive to try and get me out of taunt faster, but it is what it is. So we have one extra turn now anyway, because the taunt lands. You can see how little damage I do compared to Tenacious Fist. Interestingly, you can't actually pick up the furniture that's on the side of the room. In this room, it doesn't actually count as furniture. So, let's talk about your status debuffs, because you saw that Taunt ran out there despite me being honest. Every single status debuff in this game lasts for 2 turns. Another grenade. Good skills. With one exception. There is always an exception to every single rule when it comes to this game. So this is Sawashiro. This is going to be our first major boss. We are going to hope that we do not stun Sawashiro on this turn. Now, despite the fact that Tenacious Fist has a flat 20% chance to stun enemies, with bosses that becomes a lower percentage. With Sawashiro, it's about a 5 to 10% chance. It's really low. We are hoping to stun Sawashiro, ideally at a specific point, because there's a chance we can actually avoid one of his major attacks, and that will save us like up to 20-30 seconds. So, the reason why we don't want to stun him on the second turn, that cutscene right there removes any and all debuffs you apply to Sawashiro, which at this point the only one we can apply is obviously stun. So if you were to hit stun before that cutscene would just remove it immediately. At this point, we need to do very good perfect guards. If you cannot perfect guard, the new route that we do is extremely hard, because you just take a ridiculous amount of damage. The nice thing is his attacks in this phase are extremely choreographed. And at this point, with 36 MP left, I'm going to be using the baseball. Got a hardball, but it's a baseball. Baseballs are gun damage, which he's not weak to. But in an ideal world, we can push Sawashiro's HP over a certain value and avoid Cold Fury, which we won. We won. Thanks for the extra kick. Appreciate it. Now, after Cold Fury, he will... Oh, I got the Jolly Roller. That's nice. After Cold Fury, he will always use a Vile Blade of Stealth. Always. Even if you stun him, he will hold this attack until his first turn. It's got a lot of damage. The game, like, tries to tutorialize you on guarding against that one. You don't need to. You really don't need to. Itchy actually has quite a high chance of avoiding it anyway. Provided all my attacks have been high damage rolls, which they have, we kill on that Tenacious Fist. You get rid of him a bit quicker because of the fact that you got the agility rollover, which gave you that free opportune attack. You do not have enough Tenacious Fists. You're down by 1 to finish him off. So, really good fight. Really good fight outside of not stunning him. Again, this is why we just want average fights in that chapter, because nothing bad happens. Like, that was a pretty decent chapter 2. Welcome to Zazaki Ojincho. This is our new map. This was first revealed or first used in this game, and has subsequently been in every single game since. Except for Pirate Yakuza. But that's because that game is Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Oh. Naming conventions. So, this is Treasure Hunt. This is a new ability that we get that can check underneath vending machines. It got a little bit of a buff in Infinite Wealth, which is really nice. But in this game, you basically, the first 3 that we're doing here are fixed. It's 5 yen, 50 yen, nothing. And then after that, we are going to have to use Treasure Hunt to try and get enough money to taxi in the next bit. This is like the first big bit of the run where the run can just die, which it shouldn't do, because I'm going to be making, obviously, a safety save, and I should have a safety save after it as well, just in case. We have a few extra vending machines we can also check on the way that we don't normally in the main any %, but if it's looking like I'm not going to be able to get the money, then I'll just take the extra vending machines, because, you know, marathon. So this is Conquest. So this is the tutorial for Conquest. This is the brand new minigame. RPGSU absolutely love like showing off their new minigames to you. Like whenever they have a new one in a new title. Shouts to 20 Minutes of Unskippable Don Doco in Infinite Wealth. Appreciate you, RPGSU. Love you to bits. But the nice thing here is we only have to do the tutorial. We don't have to do the actual minigame itself. And fun fact, there's actually teleportation tech in this tutorial that I found. The downside is, it's after this, so you can't move until you've used the boost, and then the teleport is if you go backwards to where we started this entire tutorial. But as you can see, because you can't move until you use the boost, it's actually just faster to just go down the normal route anyway. If you were to go back to the beginning, you would get teleported into this cutscene. So, unfortunately, despite the fact you can teleport in this tutorial, there's no use for it. It's just slow. It's slow by like a factor of like 10 seconds. It's unfortunate. And so with this, we're going to get out of the tutorial, and then we're not going to do the main minigame, which again, for some reason this menu is really fast. I don't know why. Like, there's some menus that you can skip a lot faster than like the other menus in the game, and this is just one of them. See? I don't know why, but because of the hard work of quitting the minigame, we get 6 yen. So I appreciate that. This is Zeng. If you run this game enough, you don't like Zeng. This guy is a pain. So we also have a new party member. This is the Hobomancer Namba. Namba has access to our strongest skill right now, which is Pigeon Rain. Now, every single instance of Pigeon here is its own physical damage source. Hence why it's having, like, you know, randomized values in terms of how much damage each pigeon does. But the more important thing is that means that every pigeon has a chance to wake up someone who is stunned, who will hopefully be Zeng. Now, most bosses that have a status debilitating attack will not use it until turn 2. Oh, I do not like it. Thankfully, it missed. Oh, I do not like this menu. So, if we actually stun Zeng, even though Nanda has very little physical damage but high magic damage, which the Pigeon Raid is counted as, we will actually use an opportune attack to try and make it so Zeng doesn't wake up. Otherwise, this is a bog standard average fight thanks to stare down not landing. There is a cooldown on 4 turns for most bosses to be able to use their status debuffing attack again. Most of them. How about that? That's just an average Zeng fight, which is actually a good Zeng fight. It's obviously better if you can stun Zeng and keep him stunned, but other than that, that's the only way that a fight can be better. Not getting hit with fear is the important thing there. There's a common misconception that you can perfect guard your way out of status debuffs. You cannot. You absolutely cannot. There's a lot of misconceptions about the perfect guard system in regards to status debuffs and stuff. So Namba joins us. He's going to be our first, quotation marks, permanent party member. We're going to go to our item box and get everything that we got put in here previously. We've also got an accessory now. After we beat Sabashiro, you get an accessory. So we now are just missing shoes. And this is our RNG point. The vending machines can drop 10 yen, 100 yen, 500 yen. That's perfect. I've got the money. All you need is 730 yen. So run continues. Don't have to make any safety saves, use any safety saves or anything like that. Absolutely perfect. First vending machine is great because now you can just run straight to where we need to go. There's a couple of vending machines on the way. You can see those ones on the left-hand side there, a little out of the way. If I was not going to find the actual, like, vending machine money itself, I would have gone and checked those ones as well. But usually you get about 8 vending machines to hopefully get enough money. If you get 10 yen from every vending machine, you can also get enough money that way. So LAD has this very interesting system that they've also replicated in a couple of other games like Pirate Yakuza and Infinite Wealth, where our minimap does not have access to all of the taxis in town. Because this is a new town to Ichi, so because it's a new experience, he has to find all the taxi spots. This is both intriguing and also not intriguing, because one, it means I have to get the taxis myself. That's what we needed the money for. Light is green, so be careful of traffic. Traffic actually follows the traffic lights in this game, so whenever you get to like a road we have to cross like that one, keep an eye on the traffic lights, because if it is green, then I have to be a bit careful like that. You can get hit by cars. It's a 10-second time loss if you get hit by them. But essentially, yeah, with the taxi system, that taxi we're not going to use until we hit Chapter 13. For this fight, the first enemy dictates where the other one is going to go, so if they go to the right, then you just go to the left. If they go to the left, go to the right, etc. Hopefully there isn't one ahead of us, because I don't see the one to the left. There it is. That should be good. Because we need to get to here, and there is a fight spawn that can be right here. That one's far back enough that it won't ever get to you, which is really nice. This is Matsuo, the guy I accidentally called earlier. You can kill this guy with a Tag Team Essence of Mayhem, but you need a high damage roll. So there's only one real guaranteed way to get out of this fight in one turn, and that's Pigeon. So usually we will just use Pigeon Raid because then we're not losing any time that way. Namba's physical attack animation is really slow. So you might see it at the end of this chapter, but we do not want to see it. From that fight, we get 5,000 yen, which is really useful for taxing early on, and also the silver safe skeleton key that allows us to open all of these silver safes around town. This NPC to my right is a very rare NPC. She is the Honk Honk lady. There are 5 of them. One of them we don't want to see later on because he will actually be in the way of us getting an item. But essentially, they're super rare. They were made like on the map. Okay, that's a bad fight spawn, so we're gonna have to take the save load. For bad fight spawns like this, what you can do is you can actually save load like this, and then you will be able to just get past them. Load is not available in the settings option on console version of this game, even though the console version came out way after the PC version, or at least the PS5 version. So that's a genuine shame. We do separate PC and console because it's just more fairer for console runners anyway, but that would be a giant reason as to why we would also separate PC and console anyway. Rules like that are also going to be why there are certain little discrepancies between the PC and console run of this game, but I will point those out when we get to them because they're not going to matter for like an hour and a half at this point. So essentially, as we go down here, we're taking a little bit of a detour because we want to get these free silver safes. These are going to have mid-game or like early-game weapons for Adachi, Nanba, and a job class that Ichi does not have yet. We're going to do a big menu. We're going to put on Tag Team Essence of Mayhem. We're going to put on Gnarly Breath Pigeon Raid. We're going to optimize Ichi, put on the belt. We're going to optimize Namba, and then we're going to taxi away. Taxiing from your phone menu costs about 1,130 yen, whereas taxiing from an actual taxi costs 730. So there is a difference. That's the reason why in the first bit, when we ran down to the taxi at the end of the road, not only did we need that taxi, but we also wanted to make sure that we obviously didn't spend as much money taxiing. This run is quite tight when it comes to money, despite the fact that we are going to get over 4 million yen. This run basically has a discrepancy of, and obviously it changes per run, between 20 to 30,000 yen. So we have to be a little bit careful. Take it careful. This is the last fight of this chapter, and this is the biggest RNG fight in this chapter. It sucks. We don't have any AoE attacks, and there are 6 enemies. I think you know what I'm about to do. Namba needs to get his backside out of the way, because Namba can actually be in the way of this and ruin the entire thing. Perfect first grenade. You ideally want the first grenade to take care of all 6, which is hyper rare, or leave only 1 left for Namba to attack with his animation like that. And you can see how slow his attack animation is there. We basically have this run optimized to the point where attack animations actually play an important role. which is very important early on. What we are building towards is a whole bunch of attacks that don't have any attack animations, which you'll understand what I mean by that in, like, again, an hour and a half to an hour's time. I mean, you've already seen it with Tag Team Essence of Mayhem, where essentially we have a whole bunch of cutscene attacks that we can skip instantly, and those are also, unironically, the most powerful attacks in the game, but they cost a lot of MP. So, Itchy's job, quotation marks, changes. It's the same job, it's just a different wording. Adachi rejoins, we give him his new weapon immediately, and you can see on the right-hand side, there's a baseball bat conveniently dug into the concrete. This is gonna be Itchy's job change to the hero class. Now, Chapter 4 is massively RNG. This chapter kills a lot of runs. We ideally want for this chapter, Namba to start every single fight. This is unfortunate because it actually went slow. Because if it actually doesn't go slow, we can just get a reckless up against hopefully all of them. That's actually still good. He waited in front of us. If it actually can just, if we can get this turn order, we push them all into like a position where only this guy is left over. And again, for speed of attacks, we use Tag Team because it's, again, a skippable cutscene. Itchy will always job level from this one and main level. We get the skill Pyro Belch on Namba, which is our first elemental attack, and you can probably guess with the name Pyro Belch, it's fire. So, big menu. We're going to put on Batbuster, Mega Swing, Pyro Belch, Reckless, Beatdown, Optimize Itchy, and then go to the Job Center. I love that menu. I love that menu. You have to be very careful with this run. You can only make one taxi mistake once in the early game. Later on, you can make more, but in this early game, you can only make one mistaken taxi. So, for this bit, ideally, these guys we can take out before they have a turn. The main guy usually gets a turn quite early. He'll sometimes try and steal stuff. Get rid of you out of turn order. Attack you. You can either attack with Namba here or use Tag Team. Okay, you should use Tag Team. Somebody low damage rolled, and I don't think it was Namba for once. I actually think that was Adachi. So, thanks, Adachi. Alright, so we're gonna make a really weird looking play right here. When we go into the job center, we're actually gonna open this safe. It is a weapon for Namba that is weaker than the weapon we currently have for him. Which you might be wondering, alright, why did I pick that up? That's for getting a certain amount of weapons for Namba's class. We do not yet have access to the completion list, but when we do gain access to the completion list, that's going to help us with the style stuff. Now, in an ideal world, it will go Namba, Itchy, Adachi. What would also be good is we get the burn debuff off on him here, which is again about a 20% chance. This guy resists physical attacks, which, yeah, that means if he goes after Itchy without the burn debuff, I now need to do a little bit extra with Adachi to get out of this fight, which is reckless. If he had the burn debuff on him, we can do a normal attack, and then he takes one tick for Adachi's turn, one tick after. That odd stone at the end of the fight is perfect. That means the second point where the run can die is not going to happen. There are 3 fights in this chapter where you can get an odd stone. We need at least 1 drop from those 3 fights. It is not a guarantee. I obviously have a safety save just in case, but yep. Again, not the best start. You want Namba to start. We can make this work. You don't want to use Pyro Belch too early, because if you use it too early, it actually misses, like, the enemy that's on the ground. But the reason why I did that, I could have actually got a double reckless, that's a shame, should have waited a second. The reason why I did that is because I knew I'd be able to connect with this guy as well if I did it early. Now, what we're going to do is, because Namba's attacks are kind of slow, we're going to hope Batbuster crits, which you probably won't. Didn't. But you might be wondering as well why I didn't tag team Essence of Mayhem. Again, that's for MP purposes. We basically want to keep enough MP for Mega Swing for the next fight, and unfortunately Itchy doesn't level from that fight because we just don't take enough fights to be able to level him up at this point. So we keep the MP there by using Batbuster. It's a little bit quicker than obviously what Namba can do. The blue guy is... The reason why we bring the blue guy as well to the front, the reason why you get a choice, when you get a choice with the NPCs at the start of that fight, the only difference that changes is 1, the position of the enemy, and 2, the reward you get, which unironically is the same weapons all of our characters have currently got equipped. Blue is for Adachi, red is for Itchy, green is for Namba. The game doesn't actually, tell you about that, but it's a very cool little, It's a very cool little, like attention to detail kind of thing. But essentially, we bring the blue guy to the front so that if Namba starts the fight, he can hit both of the people that aren't weak to fire at the same time. This fight can be a little problematic depending on our turn order and the direction they go in. The main rule is that the guy at the front of the fight has to get set on fire. Now, ideally Namba starts, and ideally the Dine and Dasher walks over. He's unfortunately walking away, which is really bad. He's actually walking very far away, which is very bad. Because ideally you get everybody with Mega Swing, and then obviously just use Adachi to finish this guy off with another stream, but I'm not going to get the damage. So we got to watch the guy use his meaty press. He crit as well. Ooh. The nice thing is I should level from this fight. Oh, I don't know that. That's still fine, because it actually shouldn't take damage from the next fight. The next fight should be, yeah, the Gary fight. So we get taken up to the top part of the map, which is actually kind of nasty. So let's talk about how the map works in terms of enemies. The bottom part of the map, which is where you spawn, has enemies kind of around your level. Every enemy level is kind of fixed for the point. There are 3 different parts of the game where the enemies will get like a bit of a buff, and then you'll see new enemies. They'll be stronger. We're going to grab this taxi for later. There's a gate to the right-hand side here, dead ahead of us there, that we want to gain access to, but you don't gain access to it. On my end. Whoa. Yeah, it's fine on my end. Whoa. That ain't good. Hello, welcome back. All you missed is me running down the road. All you missed is me running down the road. It's a very long run because this taxi we need for the next chapter, and it's literally across the map where there's like level 20 enemies all around us. So we just have to run down the road and make sure we're good. Switch to Noopsy, yeah, that sounds about right. Welcome to your Palmate tutorial. Palmates are, simply put, your summons. Summons in this game are ridiculously strong. We start with the legend himself, Gary Buster Holmes. Now, Gary being the first Palmate is pretty weak in terms of damage, but Gary has access to an extra thing. Gary can use the status ailment Stun, and you've already seen how good Stun can be in this run. So having a Palmate that can actually apply stun is really good. We're going to do a sub-story. We're going to do this sub-story. This is the one fight where we're actually hoping Itchy starts first. If Itchy starts first, we go exceedingly fast. Because we just tagged him as a mayhem. This is the second odd stone fight, which we got the odd stone, so I don't need to pick up the spare one now, which is really nice. Middle option, start, skip, text box, skip, start, skip. There are several cutscenes in the Dragon Engine that just do not start skip until you get to a certain point. There's a couple in this game. There's a lot in several of the others. It's just one of those things. We need to be very careful when going in here. Do not order from the main menu, because if you do, you do not have the money to carry on the run. So we get a cup of hot water. Remember that. That's for the sub-story. We get a cup of hot water. We're going to go to the job center. We put that cup of hot water in our pocket, by the way. We're going to go to the job center. I'm going to progress the story a little bit. We've basically heard that there's a part of, there's 3 big powers here in Izaki Jincho. There is the Yakuza, there's the Koreans, and then there's the Chinese mafia. So we've heard that there is a bunch of Yakuza who are up to no good in this place here, because we've taken on this job where one of the workers of the soap land, unfortunately, is not coming to work because of things relating to the person of her grandparent who's in, like, the nursing home. Don't worry about the guy in the diaper. This is the sub-story. It's Gondara. He turns up in every game. You don't get a good Gondara fight in the year 2025. It's actually impossible. we don't have a good fight here either, because ideally you need to hit this guy as well as Gondara with Pyro Dodge. So what I'll do is I'll just take care of... I could have actually got the Reckless off. It's rare. So I'll just take care of them and then just use the tag team. We won't level, but we will get a heal out of this. This is that other conversation that I said earlier, that we're going to do this option for kindness. Much like the one in Chapter 1, you either get Kindness or Passion. Passion doesn't matter for the run. Kindness level 2 here can slightly help against Taunt at the end of this chapter. It's a very small helping chance, but, you know, anything can help. We're now going to go to the adult good shot. And we're gonna, you know, buy a giant Hitachi one for Itchy. You know, it's a baseball bat. You know, that's you do. You know, very strong. It's ridiculously strong. We're now gonna head to Bus Survive. This taxi right here is the one we're gonna be using like pretty much the most throughout the run. As soon as it starts to fade out, you can skip the cutscene. We're going to try and speak to the bartender first, so that we don't have to mess around with his hitbox in the next chapter. If not, it's fine. This is your introduction to your drink links. When you get your party members' bonds to a certain level, which is important for Nanba, you get these conversations. Square is the option for the first one because it gives us charisma. For the next chapter, we need to get our charisma to level 3 and our style to level 3. Very important. And we've already started on the style in the background. We just don't have access to it yet because we don't have access to the completion list. So we'll be coming back to Bar Survive a heck of a lot. But we now get to the main meat of this chapter. We're into a whole bunch of RNG fights. So we're going to go into the Sunlight Castle. I'm going to go and bust down this guy Totska for what he's doing here. And again, it is so important that we get Namba to go first in these fights. Because if Namba goes first, these fights just go super fast. If it's Itchy, it's not great, but it's also not the end of the fight. Because if you get lucky and push these two together, you can Pyrobelch the both of these together, hopefully. And then just have... Nice. Have hopefully it actually take care of the last guy, but he does have a lot of HP, so this might not fully finish. Good Reckless. That was a high damage roll on that one. I'm very lucky my damage rolls. Again, hopefully Namba starts this fight, because it's really, really better if Namba starts this fight. Namba, please. Good. This looks weird, the way that I'm aiming for this guy instead of the guy on the left, but this one gets you all three for some reason. Good turn order. I get a dash next as well. And Reckless should get all three. It won't kill all three, but it will take care of one of them at least. Okay. We need to be careful of Totska because Totska has Taunt, which thankfully he's not going to use. These guys have quite high HP, so what we're going to do is get rid of you with Itchy because we level after this, and then just use Adachi for this. The guy that we use Tag Team on has more HP and more defense. We get a new accessory from this fight called the Health Ring, which increases our strength, which increases obviously the strength of everything that we do. So we're going to put that on Itchy really quickly here, and this is the point where you need a piece of gear in every slot for Itchy, although you only need one accessory. So it's probably a fixed thing that the devs gave you the health ring there from that fight, so that, you know, you get given an accessory. But this is the big chapter 4 set piece. This one really sucks for RNG. This one is really nasty RNG wise. We're going to start by using Gary. We can use Gary because we did Gondara's sub-story. In an ideal world, we're going to go and take care of this guy. Ideally, everybody would be stunned from this, but not everybody can be, which is a shame. They're together, so what we're gonna do is with Itchy, we're gonna go and use Mega Swing on them, and then finish the last guy with a dash. Because he should be weak to physical attacks if I remember right. He actually resists the other guy, the hammer guy. So if we only got 3 odd stones, and I'll pick it up as a just in case, this is your other world spawned odd stone. So that's the reason why you only won from the fights, is because there's 2 world spawned odd stones. You missed one because that's when Twitch did the hiccup. But other than that, that's the other world dropped odd stone. This set piece has 3 mini-boss enemies. This is the first. This is Ida. Ida sucks. Ideally, Namba starts. Itchy starting is not great. We do want to hit Ida with Mega Swing. We also want to hit him with a full blast Pyrobelch. So Pyrobelch will not hit fully when an enemy is on the ground. So depending on like how far they are away, I'm obviously waiting a certain amount of time to make them get back on their feet. Ida will summon backup. This is good. Having Adachi after this is very good, because hopefully Adachi's in a good position, which he's kind of not. He's not. To be able to, like, Reckless it and Ida at the same time. At this point, because we have the massive large machine equipped to Itchy, he will be able to use Tag Team and just take care of Ida. So the job of the other 2 is to take care of some of the ads. I do not like how much damage I am actually being taken on Itchy here. This is actually getting kind of scary. It's actually getting very scary, because if Itchy dies, that's a game over. At this point, Ida will start to use a whole bunch of other things. I can't take care of the main HP guy, but I can take care of this guy. Oh, I can't. That's scary. That's okay. That could hit everybody. It hit Namba, which is not great, because Namba is my non-physical attacker. And that's a thing for... Ooh, I don't like this, actually, because, yeah, this guy will not bite us. This is scary. I need to hit my perfect guard if he goes for Itchy. Uh-oh. Hold on. Or Itchy could just do that, you know, that works. We're not going to have MP on Itchy for the next fight, which is unfortunate. That was a little scary, actually. We should be fine for the next fight, but just in case, what I think I'll do is take a heal from Namba. So you can do an auto heal in your menu by just pressing square. That's why you heard the heal sound. We're going to be doing that quite a lot in this run. This fight should normally be fine. Ideally, you want to come into this fight with a little bit of MP on Itchy in case he goes first, but we have a backup strat for if he also goes first. Interesting that Itchy's actually going after one of the enemy as well. He has low agility roll. We should mention... Okay, he's dead. That's great. I can just go after this guy. We should also mention, in terms of agility rolls, because it's not going to be apparent until later, agility in this game is a suggestion. It is not a fixed thing. So, despite the fact that between every single run, our stats are going to be the same every single time, every single run has a different turn. Because despite the fact that all of our agility is always the same every single time, there is a hidden agility stat tied to every character. It's due to their character and pretty much their job class. So we can only influence things so much. We're in the next chapter going to be making it so that Namba actually has way more agility than anybody else, and you can still have Itchy go ahead of him. So it's unfortunate. With Infinite Wealth, they fixed that greatly. You'll also notice I'm not attacking with Namba. You don't need to. This fight is the second mini-boss fight. We're doing things in a special order because this guy always blocks every attack from the front, which is why we are currently... That's a shame. Which is why we are currently only using Itchy Adachi, because we will just get him down on the floor for an opportune attack. That's actually quicker than using Pyro Belch on Namba between turns. You wouldn't think it would be, but it actually is. He also has a... Oh, I need that, please. Sometimes the hitbox list just doesn't load in for some reason. I don't know why. Just a Dragon Engine thing. So, yeah, with that fight, you actually have to wait until he gets through his... Again, Itchy going first is not great here. You have to wait until his HP threshold attack, like, is finished. This should hit both of them. Again, enemy with a hammer, you know the rule. You do not want them to be alive because they will literally lose you so much time. With the hammer guy down, it doesn't matter which of these two we go after. We're going to normal attack with Itchy because we want to make sure we keep our MP for the next fight. Because it is going to be our third enemy that is basically a mini-boss. Again, really hoping that Namba starts because he will always move to the left. Which, because he always moves to the left, you just use Pyro Belch on the guy to the left and you get the both. Now, Sakurai's going a bit early here, which is a shame. I'm going to wait and see where Adachi goes in the turn before I plan my next move. Because of that, I'm going to hit Kigawa with free opportunity attack. Actually, Reckless. I can get the Reckless off. Ooh. This might kill Sakurai. I hope it does. It might not. Yeah, it's just a little bit too much HP. We'll have to deal with Sakurai at some point. Hopefully that connects with him, but now he's going to move away, which is a shame. So with Kikagawa, he's now going to use Cleave if he gets a chance. So I'm not going to let him have that chance. And with Cleave, it's going to increase his damage by 20%. With Cleave, he will always then use a skill called... well, with Fighting Spirit, he will then use a move called Cleave. With Cleave, which is the actual attack, that can take care of Namba at full HP, even with a perfect guard. So you really don't want that to basically happen. So we try and take care of him quickly. We have to grab the map. We have to grab our amazing, wonderful skill, Hand Grenade. Third time, for those keeping track. And then we have one fight left in this chapter, which is going to be the main boss. And the main boss is going to look a little familiar. We do get a heal on the way, which is really nice. For just in case purposes, we're going to grab ourselves this Taroner. This is an MP heal. This is a just in case we get a bad taunt in this fight, because we will always get a taunt in this fight. And it can go very horrifically wrong. There's our heal. Run on through, and then we get to our fight. Now, unironically, this is the one fight in this chapter where Adachi starting is not a bad thing. But it is exceedingly rare. In my 6 years of running this game, it has happened literally about 6 or 7 times. Again, Namba's starting is great because Kikagawa always moves to the left. No idea why. The guy just like going that way. We're going to use Gary with Itchy. We do not have the crit, so hopefully, yep, everyone is stunned. We're going to risk waking up Ida by using Reckless on him. Hopefully it does not work. Good. Because on Ida's turn from now on, he is always going to heal instead of summon back on. This is good. Ida will die to this. Oh, this is very good. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit extra here. I'm going to use Beatdown on Kasayama to taunt him. If it applies, sometimes it doesn't. So Kasayama is now going to taunt someone. Ideally, the best person for him to hit is Adachi. The worst person to hit is Itchy, because Itchy needs to get him on the floor for Adachi to just normal attack. Perfect. This is a great fight. It even missed. It doesn't matter if it misses, because with Adachi, all we're going to be doing is normal attacking. So, great fight. That means I'm going to save a little bit of time per turn, about half a second. Because again, Adachi just does this. So, really good chapter 4, actually. I'm kind of surprised about this. Namba's just angry, don't worry about it. But yeah, we do gnarly breath. If you see that blue arrow, the 2 blue arrows going down, each blue arrow is a representation of about 10%. It actually changes to 15 in Infinite Wealth. So you can actually debuff an enemy to around about 45% in Infinite Wealth. But yeah, essentially for this game, all you need to remember is every single arrow constitutes a 10% increase or decrease. Red arrow up is obviously increase, blue arrow down is obviously decrease. We're going to be using a bunch of like debuff stuff in this run, especially later on in the run. Later on in the run is horrific. When we hit the end game of this run, what we're doing at the minute is quite simple. Like for a lot of these fights, we're doing our best single target attacks, which is like Tenacious Fist, you know, Pyrobelch, sometimes Reckless if an enemy is guarding like Kasayama. But a lot of what we're doing seems quite simple, but when we get to some of the later chapters, it's going to get a lot more complicated, and it's also going to be very, very nasty. The different ways that fights can go in this run can actually get really out of hand, especially in the end game. And with that, we go back to the Soap Land, and that's the end of the chapter. And then we get to Chapter 5, and if you've ever wanted to learn LAD, or anyone that has learned LAD as a run, they will all attest that this is by far the worst chapter to learn in the speedrun. Casually, you can get through this chapter in about 20 minutes. We're going to be here for about 45. We are going to be doing a lot of stuff in this chapter. But before we start, we get introduced to Sayako. So the girl whose like grandparent we helped in the previous chapter, this is her twin sister Sayako. And she is our 4th party member. And she's fantastic. Sayako is one of our strongest damage dealers in the early game and the late game. She is very, very good. She's going to go missing in the mid game, but that's not her fault. So, we can get the cutscene a bit quicker if you just run into the wall here. We're also not going to be attacking with her straight away because her damage right now is terrible. Which is not what I just said at all, but with Sayako, she joins us at a higher level, which you would think, hey, that's better, right? Wrong. Remember that with all of our other characters, we've given them new weapons. Anytime a new character joins you in this game, they start with their basic weapon, and their basic weapon is terrible. Now, very rarely this fight can kill you. I should have made a safety save just in case, because this fight is actually genuinely scary. Good, as long as he doesn't go after... Why is Natachi going again of Itchy again today? My luck is terrible for this fight recently. Ideally, he doesn't hit Itchy twice in a row. If he does, then you're in trouble. But it's exceedingly rare that he will ever kill Itchy. In the 6 years that I have been running this game, it has only ever happened once to one person, and that person would just happen to be me. In an ideal world, we would not have to attack with Namba there, but because I'd actually went ahead of Itchy, I don't get the opportune damage, which means I had to attack with Namba as well. With Part-Time Hero here, he is your completion list. He also gives us several extra quests, which we are going to be making a lot of use of in this run. So, let's start with those quests. First in the top right, we get all of our completion stuff. We're going to be making a quick little detour here. We're going to be going over here because with the introduction of Part-Time Hero, several of his quests start kind of concurrently, and they kind of unlock once you've done a couple of the others. This is the first of 5 missing people for Part-Time Hero. We get a good amount of money, and we get the boxing shoes. Now, the boxing shoes are, for some reason, endgame shoes. They are actually endgame footwear. Somehow, they have 39 agility on them, which is an absurd amount. And it still doesn't mean that Namba's going to go first in a fight. He should do, but it doesn't mean that he will. He can be outsped by both Itchy and Sayako, despite the fact that their latent agility is nowhere near Namba's. I'm also going to safely heal, just in case. This fight shouldn't be a problem, but there has been times where it has been. The key role for this fight, Huo and Guo must be set on fire. Hey look, Sayako went first. Sure, why not? Oh, nice catch on the guy on the right. Shame that didn't fully finish him off. Gary, no bonus. And then we're going to just take... Oh, I shouldn't have hit Guo because he has a resistance to physical attack, so I knew that wouldn't kill. Why can you use Sayako for him now? I'm going to mix this fight up a little bit. Again, I'm going to hit Guo with another Pyro Belch. Again, he kind of resists a lot of stuff in this fight. Itchy, you're going to hit Kong. Sayako, you're going to hit this guy. And Adashi's going to hit this guy and hopefully take care of it. Good fight. Good fight, despite me having to change things up a bit. Everyone levels from this fight, and despite the fact that Sayako just joined us, she's going to disappear for a couple of minutes. And we basically are following Zeng, old buddy Zeng, that guy again. Sayako's gonna basically get a part-time job in that restaurant to try and get in there and find out stuff about Zeng. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna get introduced to Samir. Samir is the blacksmith of this video game. The blacksmith in this and Infinite Wealth are your most important aspects of the game. There's a very common misconception that if you're struggling in this game, all you need to do is level up a couple of times. No. The more important thing is your gear. Having good gear can absolutely change any fight. A lot of people do not upgrade their gear. You absolutely need to use Samir more. And also we get to use this taxi now and get Samir's taxi. So let's go get Sayako. Let's go get Sayako and let's go get into a mini boss fight. Considering I've already said his name, you can probably tell who it is. And unfortunately, he has a couple of new tricks up his sleeve, and they are extremely nasty. So, this is one of Zeng's new tricks. A defensive stance. He will counter most physical attacks done to him if they don't interrupt him like this. With Sayako, we're going to go and take care of any enemy that's weak with Probably. So even though I just walked into Zeng, he countered onto Namba. Great. Absolutely great. The burn debuff is really good because that's going to start ticking down his damage. We're going to start using some of that best single target anyway, even Reckless when, you know, Reckless would be good for when he's guarding because crits like that are really good. Sayako will take care of Lin on her turn. Good. Okay, that's very good. With Zeng, he has still access to stare down, which is single target fear, but one of his new attacks is Liu Mang's Glare, which is party-wide fear. It is absolutely the worst fear in the game. That will hit him once. I don't think he'll die, but he will be low enough that the burn will tick him over and kill him. Which is actually... Oh, no, it didn't work because it ran out. That's unfortunate. So, let's talk about damage debuffs. Damage debuffs actually get a giant overhaul in Infinite Wealth, where stuff like Bleed actually does more damage in, like, the second turn than the first turn. But in this game, If you take care of an enemy with a damage debuff, say bleed, say burn, say ice, then there won't be, for some reason, an animation that you have to wait on to end the fight. It's quicker by like a second. It's really weird. Like, we have no idea why, but it just works like that. And speaking of very weird, do not run this game on mouse and keyboard. That's not just me saying, you know, oh, the game is not, you know, applicable for mouse and keyboard. You're gonna love this. You know how we skip to the end of the fight after we finish the enemy by mashing the confirm button? That has a 3-second delay on mouse and keyboard. Couldn't tell you why. We've now got access to the job system. Jobs are unlocked in a variety of different ways. For your allies, it is their levels and bond levels. For yourself, it is your personality stuff. Sayako becomes hostess, and she's now vastly overpowered. When we now have access to the job center, this is the bit that starts scaring people off of learning this run. Because now that we have access to the job center, it's time to start prepping for the mid-game. We're going to go up to Part-Time Hero. That is the upgradable weapon for Sayako's new class. This is the second missing person for Part-Time Hero. 75k at this point is good. We're going to go upstairs here, and this is going to make Noctis happy because we're going to get some cutscenes of some cats. When we leave this area, because you've seen that cutscene of a cat's backside, you have started the big, long cat fetch quest. With the big long cat fetch quest, there are 9 cats to find. When we find all 9 cats, we get a reward of 1 million yen and access to another side quest for 1 final cat with another million yen and a pound mate. 3 Kiwami drinks, 1 Sengoku coffee, 1 Suntory mineral from next door, and then we're going to go and get our first cat. This one, right here. Hey there, bud. But whilst we're also on this cat fetch quest, we're going to go on a second fetch quest, because over here in this corner is a Kappa statue. There are 10 Kappa statues. These Kappa statues, you can get 8 of them right now. 1 of them is chapter locked until chapter 6. 1 of them is chapter locked until chapter 7. All the cats are available now bar 1, which will only appear when we get the rest of the cats. We'll be getting all 10 cats in this chapter, and the rest of the statues bar 3 of them in this chapter. And you might also be thinking, well, don't we need 3 million yen to get the Sotenbori in chapter 12, so all of this money must be for Sotenbori, right? No, none of it is. Oh, that's a bad fight spot. That's gonna have to go. That's gonna have to go. That's gonna get into a fight with me. that one's too close. That one can spawn way further down the road, which you can just walk past. That's way too close. Now, there is a bonding conversation along this road. It's one of the backup ones. It's that one right there. That gives you bond points for Namba. You only need backup bond conversation points for Namba. If Namba dies at all in the previous chapter, you need to supplement that with at least 1 bond link conversation. We need this taxi for this chapter and a couple of other chapters, so we grab this now and then we just go back and carry on the story. That's also a bad fight spawn. I don't like the position of this one. Ooh, close. I bounced, which is bad. We'll talk about bouncing in the next chapter when it is actually a bit more applicable. So, let's push the story along, makes it nighttime, and pushes us to the other side of the station. With the old route, when we used to get Nancy, the Poppo to the right is the only Poppo that has the premium sushi set, where the only other place you can get it is Can Quest. Hey, look. Kappa statue. Make sure it says take picture and the camera zooms out, because otherwise the picture hasn't counted. Going back down the alley where we got our weapons, you might hear it in a second here. There's. Usually this cat is quite loud because they put this cat down a very like small alley that you don't normally go anywhere near. RGG made it quite a loud cat, which is really nice. So again, we're going to go over to the Lumang area restaurant row. Again, the Kappa statue that's locked to chapter 6 is actually on our right hand side. It's behind that shutter. But if we keep going, hello there. There's our other cat. So, these used to be the cats we used to get at the end of the run. We're going to shortcut Sparkling Cannon, optimize Sayako, and then we're going to carry on the story. We've now moved these to the start. So, we redid a whole bunch of this route to make things flow a little bit more smoothly, and so that we can get a few things ahead of time chapter-wise. So, this is going to be a 2-way fight with a mini-boss in the end of it. So, as long as you follow the rule that I am about to say, this fight isn't too bad. Start by setting fire to either Okuno or Yokoyama. Okuno will usually be the one that gets targeted first. Ideally, Ichigo second, which is ideal, because then you get rid of the rest of the ads. You want to Sparkling Cannon the one that was not Pyro Belched. Because as you'll see, even though we haven't upgraded her weapon, that's a lot of extra damage. It's more damage than Adachi is doing. This is Kume. Nobody likes Kume, apart from speedrunners, because Kume is weak to every attack in the game. Which is kind of hilarious if you think about it. So this fight is funny because this fight, Tag Team Masters of Mayhem can miss, but if you do it fast enough for some reason, it doesn't miss. It's one of those weird little rules. There's gonna be a couple like that. God, she's pretty good. Now, unfortunately, there's somebody better. There's somebody way better. This is Eri. Eri is a completely optional party member. She won a contest. She's just a normal person. She won a contest to be part of the game, and they put her in as an optional party member. And she is by far and away the strongest party member in this game. You'll see. This is the business minigame. To unlock Eri, which we're going to do immediately, we have to get to rank 100, which you might think, well, you'll see at the end of this, we're going to go to rank 152. You're going to think to yourself, oh, that's going to take forever. Actually, it only takes 10 minutes. Because the dirty little secret for this business minigame, it's all an auto-scroller. What a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of the choices you make in this minigame do not matter. There is a way to go faster, and obviously you can go slower, but allow me to show you how to get to rank 100 as quick as possible. First, we put the right staff members in the right places. So, Tome, I, Omelette. We then sack the red dudes, which it's a bit of a shame because it would actually do pretty well in the business shell. I mean, let me be careful here. 3 text boxes. 1, 2, 3. Upgrade. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. That's it. Congratulations. You reached rank 100 in the quickest amount of time possible. Reason is, with the right staff members in the right places, your initial wage bill here doesn't rise as high. And interestingly enough, once you have maxed out your business in terms of its levels and stuff, when you hit rank 100, the quickest and most optimal way to do this business minigame is with one property, which is Ichiban Confections, because you can't ever get rid of it, and the only staff member running it is Omelette. That sounds like I am absolutely taking the mickey. It sounds like I'm having an absolute joke. You can test this yourself. Between rounds where you are earning basically your share prices to go up to the next share increase, make a save, get rid of all of your other properties, and you will still increase the same amount in terms of how much you get from each round. As long as you don't mess up the shareholder meetings, this minigame is an auto-scroller. It takes about 2.5 hours to get to rank 1. So, you know, you can't go faster. You can go slower. If you mess things up, you can go absolutely slower, but you cannot go faster. And you might be wondering, so what's the point of purchasing other properties? There is none. You just get more money. And more money does not equate more shares. You think it would, because it would work like that in real life, but it doesn't. It's a video game. So we're going to run back to the business minigame. Always get to rank 100. So we're going to recruit Nishio, Master Sasuoka. We're going to auto-care and make everyone happy. Change the board in this menu to skip a tutorial. Pop in Master Sasuoka and Nishio. And let me show you how you deal with the business minigame. This is the only part that matters. So, go for the angry one. Break shield. Hit weakness. Finish on. Always go for the angry ones first. On the right. Break shield, hit weakness, finish omelet. You might have to wait a couple of seconds for the extra point. Now, we have no points. We have one guy left. You look in the bottom right, there is a circle that is filling up. That is our skill. As soon as we hit level 1, we're going to utilize that skill immediately. I'm going to take care of the fat cat in a slightly different manner. Break weakness, omelet, Nishio. Did you see that damage counter? It goes up because you hit his weakness, and Nishio has more persuasiveness than omelet. If you were to hit him with Omelette, you would have to hit him with Omelette 3 times, which you're going to see when we get to the next shareholder meeting. Because we have a route to get through these shareholder meetings pretty fast, without waiting like the first round. But we don't have enough money to do that in the first round. So from this point on, we are going to get to rank 100. It is only going to take 10 minutes. It's not that long. There is only one pop-up that is a fixed pop-up and will always occur at the same time every single time, and that's the ad campaign. It will happen on the turn after this one. The debts unlock on this turn. You can take out one of your debts and get the ad campaign, but to get to rank 100, you don't want to do that because it will affect your share price. So by going through the business minigame, we're going to get several pop-ups in between each round. In terms of these pop-ups, there is only one type that matters, and it's not the contract, and unless you're doing all sub-stories, it's not the ad campaign, it's not hiring new staff, it's whether your staff ask for a wage increase because you want to keep your staff members. So it is very important if our staff members ask for a wage increase, we give it to them. Other than that, we hold R2 for 10 minutes. Enjoy! You can consider this a slight grind if you want. We're also getting money that we need to progress the run. But the nice thing is, Aria's going to save us somewhere between 30 to 45 minutes. She's very, very good. She is going to be our biggest damage dealer in the endgame. Like, she did not come back to Infinite Wealth for reasons. But yeah, essentially this is just pay attention to like all the different stuff in between rounds. Hopefully get as little pop-ups as possible because that's what really slows you down in this business minigame. Go away, Yang. I do not need you. So if you were doing all sub-stories, there is actually one staff member you are looking out for to join you during these bits, and that is Miyakuni. Miyakuni is a blue staff member, and she is good all the way up until rank 30. She's very, very good. But we don't need her. So, we don't need her for the any percent, so we just carry on. Now, we should be one more off of the shareholder meeting. Sometimes you'll get old increases from Omelette. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Want to level up? Master for 3 times for you. 2 for Omelette. Okay, thank you. I got a little surprised at what I was one off. Okay, so with the no waiting one, because we leveled everybody up. Great weakness, hit with Omelette multiple times. Now you'll also notice how slow I'm going to use Omelette here. That's not me. So here's the interesting thing. Look how fast that is to be able to use Omelette. By using multiple staff members, it's actually quicker than using the same one constantly over and over. That's the other reason why you don't want to use Omelette multiple times for the first round, but we have to this time to keep enough points so that we don't have to wait during that shell. Actually, 117. Cool. See, it's almost like I know what's going to happen. It's almost like it's a auto-scroller. No pop-ups. Very nice. So once we get to the next shareholder meeting, literally, that's going to be rank 100. And once we get to that part, that's going to be the part that everybody hates when it comes to learning this speedrun. Because that's when we're going to do a lot more. We used to do the business minigame about halfway to 3/4 of the way through the run originally. Now we do it way earlier. So all the shopping stuff that we need to do in this chapter is going to occur after the business minigame. It is a lot to remember, and it is very hard. Hey, there's Miyakuni. Hey, hi, how you doing? He wants a wage increase, you give him his wage increase. This isn't the greatest business minigame because we're getting a lot of pop-ups in between our rounds. Which is a shame. Yeah, at this point, we just vibe and chill. This is usually the part of the run. Oh, excuse me, I got problems with my nose today. This is usually the part of the run where I get to vibe, I don't get to explain anything anymore because, as I said, there's a lot to explain with this run, and I've been explaining a lot. This is usually where I throw it over to chat and be like, if you got any questions, now is like a actually genuinely great time. So if anyone does have any questions about the run, now is a perfect time because we are just waiting until we get to the next shareholder meeting. It's going to be like another 2 minutes until we get there. So. But this is kind of like the calm before the storm. It's also quite nice because it's been a very involved run up until this point, so you just get to vibe for a bit. It's kind of nice. But we'll be hitting 116 and we'll just be basically hitting that until we get there. That's nice. That's good. Well, I should also mention as well, if you're doing this casually, there's several different times where like nightlife and stuff like that get a bit of a boost and an increase because that's when you earn a little bit more money from certain properties. Again, none of that matters for the speedruns for either all sub-stories or the main 80% because, again, you don't go faster than this. Like, you don't get any more than this. You do when you get the ad campaign, which is what we do in all sub-stories, but you just don't need it in 80%. We're going to not get any more current share price after this point because we've hit the max. But we shouldn't play. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's actually a lot quicker than I expected. Cool. I did not level Nishio. That's a problem. That is a slight problem. Oh, we'll be fine. Great weakness. Nishio Tome. We're just not going to have as many points, so we might have to wait for the last person here for a second. So you'll notice as well, I'm now ending with Tome instead of with Omelette. Should probably be a triple Tome, right? Yeah. So we're actually okay, I just have to wait for 1 point, we're fine. So not leveling up Nishio there leaves me a little below 1 point that I need, but it's also fine because that'll get us to rank 100 still. Actually, that occurred a lot earlier than I expected. We actually went through a lot more rounds than before. Wow, rank 100! Wow, who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? So 288,000 yen, that is a lot of money, which is really good. With this, you can't continue the business minigame until you get Eri into your party anyway. We are going to gain access as well to a skill here called Stack Slap. Hopefully, you will only see me use Stack Slap once. If I use it more than once, we've had some horrific levels of RNG. But we'll come to that in the next chapter. Now comes the big fetch quest again. Remember, we're getting our cats, we're getting our Kappa statues, so let's carry on doing that. If there's a fight spawn down here, which there is, you can get rid of it by starting this sub-story right here, because that will just replace it in a second. Kappa statue. You might have just heard it very, very quietly. The cat is behind us, is on top of this car park. Now, I didn't mention this for the vending machines back in Chapter 3. With the vending machines, you can also have a small chance to get a bronze plate, silver plate, or gold plate. But if we were to get one of those, it's actually bad luck because we don't have the secondhand shop open until we do this sub-story, which we start now, but we're not going to finish until Chapter 12. So it's going to be a while until we get back to there as well. We're now going to run through Hamakita Park. Hamakita Park has 2 cats, 1 Kappa statue. However, one of the cats is currently unavailable. So we're going to leave the Kappa statue and the other cat until the other cat is available. But whilst we're on this side, we get that cat. We're going to grab this van right here. This gets us flowers. We need to do a very specific menu. Starting with a bouquet. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1 mysterious seeds. The flowers here are the rewards for part-time hero. That's a bad fight spawn. Let's dip to the left. A very bad fight spawn. I haven't had one there for quite a while, actually. But you can just cut through this bit. The idea that we're doing here is we want to go grab this taxi over in this corner. That's going to allow us to taxi back here when we need to get that last cap statue. Bad fight spawn. Now, let's talk about one... I'm going to have to get rid of it. Let's talk about one aspect of this chapter that we still haven't done. With the last fight being Kume, Gary Buster Holmes is on cooldown for one more fight. Which means at some point in this chapter, we need to get into one fight and run away to get Gary off of cooldown. Now, ideally not in this part of town. Every enemy in this part of town is levels 20 to 25. The only character we have that is going to go ahead of them is Namba. And if Namba fails to escape, and Namba has one of the worst animations for escaping because it's long, then we're going to be in big trouble because we're just going to die. And if you die to a normal fight in this run, you lose money, and we do not have money to be able to spare in terms of losing a fight. No fight spawn here. This is Chinatown. Chinatown has the worst rate of fight spawns in the entire game, and we have to come here several times. Cat here, turn around. Hopefully a good fight spawn down here. Perfect. You have enough time to get here, get the Kappa statue. Game. Sure, thanks game, sure. Sometimes the Dragon Engine does not like letting you take pictures of Kappa statues. You have to be at a very precise angle. It's never been that close. It's never been that close. Hey, shopping time. So we're going to head over to the big pharmacy on the corner here. Jump on inside and buy a couple of things that are going to be very useful potentially for the run and some just in cases. 2 paralysis pieces, 2 mental supplements, 1 plant stamina and spark, and a 30 set of Semidyne Super X. Then we're going back to Bar Survive. This is where we're going to unlock Eri and do a bunch of other stuff. There is a small chance that I can make a mistake here and ruin the run, so I'm going to make a hard save just in case. Shouldn't do, but just in case. We start with Eri. X, and then we have to skip 5 text boxes before we can skip the rest of the cutscene. This looks like it's skippable. It is not. That is Charisma level 2. After this, we need to get to Charisma level 3 and almost level 3 style. This is the last story cutscene Eri is ever and ever again, but she is our first proper permanent party member. Itchy can never be removed, so we don't consider him a permanent party member. But Eri is our first proper permanent party member. You'll understand what I mean by that in a little bit. Try and talk to the bartender before Namba. The bartender's hitbox is smaller than Irahaz to the left and also smaller than Namba's to the right. This allows us to plant seeds and do some gardening, which is important. For Namba, circle. Start, skip, skip once. Start, skip, circle. Start, skip, skip once. Gonna do a glitch. Glitch got fixed in Infinite Wealth. RGD knew. See our charisma and style is half and half to level 3, which is great. This is my movement hand. As long as we don't move, we speak to Sayako straight away, which is the first important part. Give her the lilies, and then watch at the right-hand side of the screen as I am start skipping. Note that the bond stuff is actually getting added on for every start skip. That's how you level people's bonds up really fast in this game. Well, that charisma is free. Style is not free yet, but that's actually fine. Because once we take 2 more taxis, we will have hit 30 taxis for the completion list, and that will hit our style to level 3. Upstairs, we're going to go grab this cap statue. We used to do this a bit later in the run, because we start in one of our chapters in this room, but we're going to want those cap statues as early as possible. We're going to turn to the right. We're going to plant those mysterious seeds with the plant stamina and spark. They would usually take 20 minutes. Now they'll take 20 seconds, and we'll get extra amount. We only need 5. With the plant stamina and spark, you'll always get between 7 and 10. You heard it. That's our final cap. I'm trying to get in the club in the daytime. It's not open in the daytime, I'm afraid, my dude. Back to part-time hero. So it's going to be 1.1 million. I'm a little lower than I would like. That's fine. That's fine. I've got some backup strats for this next bit just to get me a little bit more money. Yeah, I'd like ideally that to be 1.12, but that's fine. It's still not the end of the run. If it's below 1.1, I would have been more afraid. We should be fine. So we're going to head to the top right of the park, and this million yen we're going to spend immediately. So now that we have gotten that reward and we've spoken part-time hero, we now have access to the final cap, Robson. Robson is in this park at the quotation marks highest point. It's not. it's not. That's an outright lie. But we need to do a big shot, so let me just concentrate on this. 10 sturdy lumber, 23 quality, 18 high quality, thank you, 5 ragged cloth, 17 thick, that's 16, 14 beautiful, up to 20 metal wire. That's the one that I usually cut down on if my money is a little bit scary at the minute, which it is. 47 sturdy iron, 43 refined iron. These are all very specific amounts. 14 cloudy pane, 22 clear, 27 immaculate, 26 tempered, 14 sturdy, 21 dull, 5 gleaming, it used to be way more than that, 7 thick hide, 10 smooth, 6 high-end leather. Yepper statue. There it is, it's hiding in here. Another big shop, 37 daikon, this is a very precise menu. 11 tomatoes, 61 hot peppers. I do have the list obviously next to me because there is a lot to remember here. 50 potatoes. If I mess this up, it's the end of the run, so, you know, I'm not messing this up. 52 onion. Oh, wow, I slowed down there. 72 garlic. It's always been 72 garlic, with all the changes. 7 mushrooms, and 13 carrots. It's very precise because this way we won't get any excess ingredients in our inventory when we've used all those ingredients. Gonna head up here and we're gonna grab Robson from the quotation marks highest point in the park. And down to the bar district. We used to do these bits in like a... You could do these bits in a slightly different order, but in this route, we have to do it in a very specific order. Grab our mysterious fruit. We got the full 10. Again, it doesn't matter. We're going to go inside, speak again to the familiar bartender. 1. Oops. Excuse me. I need to make more of those. 2. 10. All of the ones that we're making 10 of are our healing items for the run. Everything else is part-time hero rewards. 2. 10. 1. And with the next taxi, that will get our star to level 3. So let's go to the job center, because with this, we can change Itchy into 2 different jobs. So we're going to go on to 1 job for literally about 2 seconds. That is going to be foreman. Straight into host. So by being on foreman for half a second, you gain access to the cross-class skill Demolish. This is going to allow us to gain access to certain secret rooms, secret shops and stuff like that. We're going to go and do one of those right now. We're also going to go and hand over some stuff to one of the assistants of Part-Time Hero, which is this lady here. This also despawn the fight spawn that's going to spawn at the end of the street. Every time. This is going to get us a couple of very, very important things like the Gore Boots, the Tarot cards, the Magic Lighter, a Kappa statue right here. Head over to the secret shop, break down the wall. Excuse me. Speak to this lady here. This is a very, very important menu. We want to get us... Hello. We want to get ourselves 7 gold safe keys, 10 smoke bombs, 1 gambler's tie, 2 fancy business, 1 of which is equipped over the belt. Gonna go back to Part-Time Hero. Gonna hand in Robson for the next 1,000,000 yen. And also get Robson as a pound mate, who is one of the strongest pound mates in this game. We're gonna actually be using Robson all the way to the final boss. 1.2, that's good. Yeah. We're okay on money now. We're okay on money now. And then we're going to go and spend most of this money at the blacksmith. Now, as a big warning, anytime that I am in the blacksmith, flashing light warning. It's not that bad, but there's going to be a white flash on screen every time I upgrade a weapon. So just be aware of that. So every time we're in here, just flashing light warning. It's not strobe lighting, but because it's a white, bright flash, I like to warn people. Because for people, you know, that suffer from that stuff, it does hurt. So 3 cards. I'll say when it's done. 3 pouches. And it's gone. There you go. All good. We're going to craft the steel broom. The lightning bandages. Metal ruler. And the voltaic yellow wine, which is why we need the old stones. Dachi, Namba, Itchy, Eri with Namba's boxing shoes. Sayako gets the magic lighter and the toy bracelet. We then, party-wise, get rid of Namba for Eri and then Adachi for Namba. Again, that is specifically to make it so that Eri is in slot number 2. Our opponent party members need to go in slot 2 and 4. We now need to get into 1 fight spawn. I'm going to try... I don't like the position of this one. This one is very hard to run away from. Now, ideally, Eri will always go first, because Eri's latent agility is kind of disgusting. But also, that shouldn't have worked as a fight escape, because the Dragon Engine should have said no, but it just did. It's very weird. I'm going to make a hard save here, just in case. There shouldn't be any problems with this fight, but this is one of those fights where something weird can happen. Anyway, good Chapter 5. As I said, Chapter 5 is very involved. Exceedingly involved. So, we're going to give a Kiwami drink to Eri. We're going to use Gary with Itchy, and then we are going to wait until Eri's turn. Now, I was hoping he would get stunned here, because this can cause a slight problem. We're going to use Rolling Kick with Eri, and hopefully he doesn't guard this. Shame. Reason being is that this is one of those fights that can go weird. So what we're going to do is intentionally wait until Eri's turn again, because we need the next phase to start with Itchy. It's massively important that the next phase starts with Itchy. This fight is weird. For some reason, your pound mates will miss in this fight unless Ichi goes first in phase 2. Couldn't tell you why. It's one of those things. It is one of those rules you learn exceedingly early on. I'm gonna attack with Namba. Namba or Eri, they're about the same time-ish, like attack-wise. Eri's a little bit faster, but by taking time to get to her turn, it's a little bit slower. So by giving the EXP drink to Eri, she's going to get a little bit more EXP. She's going to learn a move called Thumbtack Scatter, which is an exceedingly good skill. We're going to be using a lot in this chapter. This is the RNG chapter. This is the exceedingly RNG chapter. And bottom option twice to get out of here. So the game does a gimmick fight here. It's a very cool gimmick fight. It actually, because they take away your equipment, it puts you back as your default job class of Freelancer. So we don't have access to the host stuff, and we also don't have an AoE attack, except I do because I have my grenade. Now, unfortunately, we are going to have to use one extra sack slap, because this guy to my left decided to walk away. The 2 ants will go down to, obviously, the grenade, but you really want to make sure you hit Yan with it, because Yan takes 3 stack slaps. Only 1 if you hit him with the grenade. Get rid of him first, because he is the one that obviously takes the most time to do his attack animations with that big crowbar. And then we gain access to our party. So, skills. Eri, Rolling Kick, and Thumbtack Scatter. We're going to grab the 2 briefcases on the way to the left here. These are solo target heals of Stamina X and a Stamina X. These are very, very good for the end game. But these days we sell them, because money is exceedingly tight. So hey, remember when I said Thumbtack Scatter is a pretty good skill? I'm going to demonstrate. Pretty good skill. Well, he might run. Oh, he didn't. Good. Sometimes when he dodges to the side, he will actually run, which is not great. So, whilst we're down in these sewers, we need to get Eri to hit level 15 with the first fight of the next chapter. She will not have enough EXP coming out of this set piece to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 fights in this set piece and then run from all the rest. And this is where the RNG comes into play, because we essentially have to hope that our characters will run away from these fights. So, yeah, I was a little hopeful on that one. That's not going to work because you're around the corner, so I'm going to have to wait for Sako's turn, so that's a bad start. So, smoke bombs are a 100% guaranteed escape from a fight. However, there's a rule behind smoke bombs. Smoke bombs do not work if you cannot see the enemy. So, with Eri back here, a smoke bomb would not work. But because her running away animation is one of the quickest in the game, she's one of the best people to actually run away from fights from. Now, when it comes to running away from fights, unfortunately, the console version of this game has a disadvantage. With this set piece, if you're on PC, you want to leave here with a minimum of 2 smoke bombs, ideally 3. If you're on console, a minimum of 4 smoke bombs, ideally 5. I'll explain the reason for why when we get out of the set piece. Much like previously, if you missed the previous explanation, escaping from fights is based on how much space you have behind your character. So I'm trying to move our characters to the middle of corridors. Volume warning. If Eri kills the next fight in 1 hit, and even more so if she crits, we're going to get a thing that we like to call the crunch. For some reason, there is an echo down in the sewers, and it gets kind of loud. I get this 15 decibels louder than you do. Eri, could you save my ears and not explode them today? This will probably work. Oh, wait. For some reason, there is extra bass to that on PS5. Just PS5. No idea why. We're on PC, obviously, but for some reason on PS5, there's just even more bass to that. Thanks, I guess. This one will only be really loud if Eri crits. But these are 2 of the 3 fights that we're taking down here to get that EXP for Eri. It's not bad. So we're going to escape the next fight from inside of the fight, and then we have one of the hardest fight avoidances in the entire run. It's very, very cool because it's actually quite technical, but it is very hard to pull off. If it doesn't work, we have smoke bombs, so we just lose like 10 seconds. That's unfortunate. So, I should have used Smoke Bomb because I don't have anyone after Itchy. Yeah, that's my fault. Yeah, that's my fault. Not listening to the rule. If no one is after Itchy, always use a Smoke Bomb. I'm trying to say Smoke Bombs when I don't need to be that concerned about them right now. So what we're going to do is, remember how I talked about enemies and their sight range earlier? We're going to intentionally get this enemy sight range by bouncing off this wall, cutting this corner, and then hopefully cutting this corner without bouncing off the corner of the top. One thing that happens when you bounce off of a wall, your hitbox gets displaced in the direction that you're going a bit further than it actually looks like it is, which is why these fights will actually start, is because you're displacing your hitbox into the fight itself despite you not being anywhere near to them. So we have to basically bounce off the first corner to get the attention of the fight spawn early so that we can run past them without them getting into a fight quickly. Same with like that one, but that one we don't have to do anything fancy for because you can just run on the right hand side of the corridor, which is far enough space. We're going to do a little bit of advanced escape tech for this fight. Eri's going to be in the corner, so we're going to target the enemy to the right and then attempt to escape. So remember the rule. Whenever you run at the start of a fight, you run in a slightly randomized direction, slightly left or slightly right, or sometimes slightly backwards. With targeting an enemy before you run, you will run parallel away from that enemy. You are basically telling the game you want to run in a straight line away from the person you target. So you can use that to try and escape. Eri's going to fail here, I think. Yep. You can use that, like this, to tell that Itchy wants to go directly down the middle of the corridor. It's very advanced runaway tech, but it's very cool. Like, it's again, it's not like super flashy or anything like that, but it's just cool. You know? Last fight to escape from this one. We're trying to keep Eri in the middle of the corridor. She's going to teleport here, I think. Yeah. She might be the one on the right-hand side, which would be a problem if she is. Shouts to Twitchy Streamer. That's us. The actual enemy description for Twitchy Streamer is so funny. The localization of this game is fantastic. Like, all the enemies in the encyclopedia, or the Pokepedia, or whatever it's called, they actually have, like, unique flavor text that's really good. The Twitchy Streamer is fantastic. It is actually a pun on like Twitch streamers, and it's very, very good. This one will sometimes not work. Shouldn't have worked with that direction, but it did. We're going to grab the safe in this right-hand corner. This is going to be a piece of headgear. It's the felt hat. The felt hat is a 10 magic headpiece. We're going to put it on our best magic attacker, who's Sayako. It's not the biggest amount of extra magic, but it's going to make it so the boss of this set piece is doable in one cycle consistently, and we're also going to get to give that to Itchy later on when he just doesn't have that much magic when Sayako disappears. So Itchy's going to get like a tiny magic buff from that. We're obviously going to get a good magic buff from Sayako from this point onwards. So it's not too bad. Last volume warning for this bit. Very last volume warning. We're trying to get Eri into the middle of this corridor. This one will usually not work because of that guy in the back left. He's usually too far away, and quite often you can actually miss enemies in this fight, and that's really bad. Really bad. So you'll see me throw this like almost instantly. Missing two is not great, but it's also not the end of the run. Because we now have to wait until they're gone. We'll use Sparkling because they're weak to water. And with those 3 extra fights, we should, if we have not made any other mistakes, have Eri to be able to get to rank 15 at the start of the next chapter. If not, we're in trouble. I have to do 1 extra fight somewhere. But I'm pretty confident I haven't made any mistakes. We're doing pretty good so far. Again, this is a weird one. Eri is going to be in the other corridor. Or in this case, actually not. I should probably smoke bomb this one. Yeah. We have a lot of spare smoke bombs at this point. We can absolutely start throwing out smoke bombs for weird starts of fights like this. But sometimes Eri will start in the middle of the corridor for that fight. And when you run with her, she will run in a literal 90-degree direction to the right. And more often than not, actually succeed in escaping for some reason. When, in all intents and purposes, she should not. Game's weird like that. Also, I guess this is to be a... Yeah, she tried it, but she didn't like it. Would this also be a good time to talk about, after the fight skip on the next floor, that is, weapon upgrading and stuff like that, because this game limits how far you can upgrade your weapons in a kind of clever way. The structure of this game is actually quite smart in how RGD tries to stop you from getting too overpowered. For this fight, we're going to go to the right wall, touch the right wall, and then go up the stairs. Most of the time that will work, 90% of the time to get away from this fight. If it doesn't, spare one. In all sub-stories, you actually have to do that fight because there is an item on the floor by that fight spawn that you need. Which, speaking of items on the floor that we need this item right here. It's going to be the gold scorpion. It's going to sell for about 10 to 12,000 yen. So yeah, the thing about this game and trying to kind of be quite balanced for you. When you're leveling your weapons to an EX level, you cannot level them past a certain point because there is one material that you need to start leveling these weapons past EX level that doesn't turn up until chapter 12. You cannot get a drop of it until chapter 12. No enemies drop it before chapter 12. There is no way to farm them before chapter 12, which is the battle tower. So yeah, they do a very interesting way of trying to keep you, you know, not too overpowered. But most of the weapons that we have right now are going to be the weapons for our in-game. With the exception of what Eri's got and what Namba's got and what Ichi's got. Because Namba's are going to disappear for a while. I'm sorry, Namba fans. Namba is a little bit on the useless side in this speedrun after the next chapter, which is a bit of a shame because in Infinite Wealth, he is the de facto damage dealer in that run. So Namba fans, do not worry. Namba gets his comeback in Infinite Wealth in big ways. All right, boss fight time. I can tell I've done this correctly because Ares MP is 68, which is correct. Welcome to the excavator. Don't ask how they got this down here. No idea. So, if you've been doing everything alongside speedrun up until this point, follow what I do. Nice and simple fight. Hopefully we get the good turn order. We start with rolling kick. This one goes through defenses for some reason. That's the blue number. That is a good turn order if it stays like this. Use Pigeon Raid with Namba. Actually, no, it's not. No, it's actually a bad turn order. I need Psycho ahead of Namba. Uh-oh. And then Spark. This will be enough damage to get to halfway and kick Yan out of the excavator. Now, it should go to Yan's turn, but for some reason, this game is a little weird and resets the turn order to my turn. Cool. We're going to use a Kiwami Drink on Eri. We're going to use Tag Team Master Mayhem onto Yan. And the reason why it's a bad turn order is because we want to use Pyro Belch on him. So again, you know the rule. We can't use Pyro Belch when the enemy is on the floor. But you can use Sparkling Cannon when an enemy is on the floor, and it leaves them on their feet for after the fight. Or after the turn. So that's why you want Psycho ahead of Namba. Do not worry about the game calling me that in the top right. That is ye olde 60s slang for a detective, because we got enough detective weapons from that fight that we get that completionist bonus. Do not worry about it. In the old route, we used to go and do our blacksmith now, but because we did it at the end of the previous chapter, we are going to just carry on with the story. And this is the bit where it gets a little unfair if you're running this game on console. So remember in the previous set piece I said we need a certain amount of smoke bombs depending on if you're on PC or console. Unfortunately, this fight doesn't exist. It does, because you can see it. But this fight doesn't exist. If you're doing this New Game Plus, you will have an accessory called the Hariti's Amulet. The Hariti's Amulet despawns any and all fight spawn. So any fight spawns that don't actually logically exist disappear. And that's one of them. And that's the reason why console needs more smoke bombs, because there is no load option in the settings version of any of the console versions. So it's quicker just to smoke bomb out of there than lose 45 seconds. Harry's going to thumbtack this guy and hopefully hit all of them, but that's not looking too great. Never mind, that's looking pretty good. Tag team this guy and hopefully kill him. Yeah, sometimes that happens, but thankfully Harry crit the other guy, so he's dead, and this guy's dead as well, because Simon does more damage. Okay. Before we leave, hello, Kappa Statue. Right there, just chilling. That's our chapter 6 lock cap statue. Remember, we've got one more chapter lock cap statue. Use Demolish another time, and we're going to get access to this shop, where we're going to be purchasing some very strong accessories. We're going to do a superpowering, 1 on Itchy, 2 on Eri, 2 on Adachi, and then 1 unequipped. 2 silver bracelets onto Sayako, and 1 military insult over Itchy's EXP item. Do not start skip this fight. It is a long load that doesn't count towards the load remover. So just, tech skip. Nice and simple. Contact the guy with a large HP bar. The 2 hands do not matter. Because if they're alive, they won't be after Gary. And they just end him with Spartan Gun. Nice and simple. With that, we have 1 fight left in this chapter. And this is a boss fight, which is not going to be too hard. So, because we upgraded our weapons, we can actually use a different palmate in this bit. We don't have to use Eri whatsoever. We can just use Robson. No bonus, which means I'm going to have to use 1 of Sayako or Amber. Do not hit Sayako, thanks. She is the damage dealer here. And that's the end of the chapter. Nice and simple. So, Eri, as you can see, is a fraction off of job of level 15, which is perfect. That means we've done everything correctly. And money is still looking good. So we had a little bit of a problem. Itchy's damage is mostly coming from either Tag Team Messes and Mayhem, but for multi-attacks, they're obviously coming from his palmates. Now, in terms of his palmates, he has currently got Gary Buster Holmes, which is a 1-fight cooldown, and Robson, which is a 3-fight cooldown. There's a discrepancy here. There is a turn missing. So we're going to get another palmate. This is disgraced former Korean superstar, Illusion. Has been in a lot of Yakuza games. We are going to get him as a poundmate. He is pretty good for damage. LAD has a lot of very unique poundmates. Obviously, Gary does stun, but he has a weaker poundmate in terms of damage. This is another one of those cutscenes that you just want to skip through text-wise after you do intervene. Use Thumbtack Scatter. That'll be the end of the fight. And Eri will hit level 15. In the background, Adachi has hit level 17. He needs to hit level 15 as well, so he is completely fine. Illusion, wait until the camera pans back to Itchy. Start skip. Text box once, and then start skip, and then you don't have to give over the water. Itchy, steal Eri's shoes. Amber, out for Adachi. Cool. We're going to the job center. It is time to get the 2 most broken and overpowered jobs in this game. So strong, they did not return for infinite wealth. For Eri, dealer. For Adachi, enforcer. Neither of these jobs came back in infinite wealth, despite a chunk of the jobs in this game coming back to infinite wealth. Host returns, even though Host is quite strong in this one. Host is actually busted and overpowered in infinite wealth. They made it stronger for some reason. But a couple of things also came over. Breaker, Chef, etc. In this run, Breaker isn't super useful, but it's very good in infinite wealth because they gave you an agility buff in it. So Breaker is kind of ridiculously fast. So, excuse me, with Adachi and Eri in my party, we're going to start getting them job levels. Once they hit jobs level 5 and jobs level 6, they are going to start getting a mass amount of really good skills. By saving Illusion, he gives us a great gift. Bullet. That's actually a very good item. And we also get him as a poundmate. That bullet is the job EXP item of a character that is going to join us in chapter 10. But you will get to see them in this chapter because they're going to be our next boss. That is going to allow us to get his essence attack 2 chapters early. It is exceedingly good. This is your 1 break segment. You got 20 seconds. Good luck. Important point to make during this part. You might be wondering, language dub, personal preference? No. Japanese is faster by 15 seconds. And I will explain why when we get there, because the reason why is actually kind of funny. Kind of very funny, actually. Okay. Welcome to Komi Duel. This is the Komi Duel set piece. So, this is the reason why we needed some of those smoke bombs. There's going to be some fights in here we have to avoid. We're going to start with this fight. We've redone the order of certain fights with our poundmates. We're going to start with Gary. Sayako got a very quick agility roll here, which is nice. Sometimes she won't have the damage to take care of this guy, but sometimes she will. So if she does, he'll go down. But if not, just attack with Eri. That's it. Nice and simple. We get level 5 on Eri and Adachi for their job rank. We get Jackpot, Chip, and Shield Blast, respectively, two extremely strong skills that we will be using multiple times in this run. And then this fight gets us jump rank 6 for the two most broken and overpowered skills. You survived, that's not right. It's a low damage Robson roll. Two most broken and overpowered skills in this game. For Eri, Dart Airstrike. For Adachi, Paralysis Prongs. They are exceedingly good, as you will see. You can skip this fight. This is why we need our smoke bombs, because we don't have the room to be able to run from this fight. But provided we have the smoke bombs, we can get away from this fight. I'm gonna grab this bento on the right-hand side. This is a just-in-case for the chapter after this one. There's one particular fight that can be a little bit of a pain in the backside. We grab that raw platinum ore because we're gonna sell that later on. Cross over the wires here, and then we're going to get into find the Komi Duel member. It's very hard. We're also going to do a couple of extra things here because of the fact that we're doing a marathon run. If you're on PC, use mouse and keyboard here because for some reason this bit has weirdly high like mouse acceleration. Can't explain why. It just is what it is. It's a lot quicker to use the mouse here. Note to self, you don't have the shortcuts equipped because we do this with a new route. Itchy uses Gary. Gary uses Dart Airstrike, which again, you get to see in a lot more detail coming up real soon. So because we are in a marathon, and death can occur very quickly at the end of this run, we're going to grab a couple of first aid kits as safety just in case. Because, oh goodness, this run can get nasty. We do want this muscle soda. This muscle soda is extremely important. If you are down to either 2 smoke bombs PC, 4 smoke bombs console, this is the fight to run from. This is the one where you have just enough space, but not always. So that's the one to attempt to run from. But again, I have enough smoke bombs, so we're just going to use the smoke bomb to get out of it fast. Can we dialogue here to skip? It will slow you down until you skipped it. Cross the beam, go into the small side room, and get the upgradable weapon for the Enforcer class. So we're going to go to our skills. Eri is going to get Jackpot, Chip, and Dart Airstrike, and actually going to get Paralysis Prongs and Shield Blast. Here, Eri gets an Optimize, and actually gets an Optimize. I've just realized I made the same mistake that I did the other day. That's problematic for later, but not for now. We can fix that in this chapter, and I'm going to do that.
Oi.
Okay. Probably should have made a safety save just in case, but we should be fine. This fight can be annoying. It shouldn't be a problem, but it can be annoying. I forgot to speak to one NPC in chapter 5, so I do need to go back and speak to them, but I can actually do that in this chapter. I actually do that in the next chapter, because we actually taxi over to him. We're going to use the muscle soda over onto Eri. You know I said Dart Airstrike's really good. Watch this damage. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, we're doing over 1k damage with Eri already. So ideally, very rare chance, like 5-10%, we can get Jungi-Han drunk. It will stop him from using Divine Shock, which this is a big AoE skill. It is nasty, it hurts a lot. Now, Jungi-Han's next turn, he can cast Sleep, or he can Stun. We want neither of those. A normal attack is perfect, and I'm kind of surprised that was his option. Weird thing with Dart Airstrike, if an enemy is on the floor next to a wall, Dart Airstrike misses one of the darts, so you have to wait until they stand up. Provided the Adachi is after Sayako, you can guard the Sayako and then just use passive one to get out of the fight. Nice and simple. As said, nice and simple. Like, as long as Adachi doesn't get slept, you're fine. If Adachi gets slept, you just attack with Sayako instead, and you just be a little careful damage-wise in case he goes after Hitch. For the Escape from Kobe Jaw section, we start with Robson. Next fight is Gary. Gonna break that little rule that we just mentioned about enemies being next to walls. This is gonna push the guy into the wall. And again, as I said, you should wait to hit all 3 darts, but he dies in 2 darts anyway, so it doesn't matter. Now, we'll talk about Dart Airstrike here, because the rules of Dart Airstrike are that Dart Airstrike should hit the character on the left-hand side of the screen first, and then go to the right. That is not always the truth. One of these enemies also resists gun attacks. Hopefully they're not the person hit by the first dart, because they can survive it. Good, he died. That's a crit as well. We love our unironic crits that we don't need. Before we leave, very important, go up the stairs to the right, camera out, cap a statue. So, at this point, I'm going to go over to here. Check for a fight spawn on my minimap, and then despawn if there is. There isn't. I'm going to head this way specifically. Usually if you go this way, there's the pseudo trash there, but usually there's a fight spawn along the road ahead of us. That doesn't matter, because we're going here to speak to this person, the third of our missing persons for Part-Time Hero. Now, we can end the chapter now, but we're actually going to go and do a little bit extra. Go and do a little bit extra to get a bit stronger. I'm probably going to go and do the Part-Time Hero stuff in the next chapter, because we're going to be going up to Part-Time Hero. That is very unfortunate I forgot it, but I'm very glad that I was paying attention to my optimize menu there. Get yourself 5 muscle soda, and make sure you have 1 Kiwami drink. You only need the 1 more EXP increasing drink for later on. That fight spawn's fine, because it's far away. In this safe is the second upgradable weapon for Host, and the 4th missing person for Part-Time Hero. We're now going to go and get another Poundmate. This Poundmate is only available at night, and is one of the most broken and ridiculously powerful Poundmates. The reason why I use that tax is to guarantee getting rid of a fight spawn on the corner of this building. But this is one of the most strongest and overpowered Poundmates, despite the fact that it does no damage. This is the sub-story for Mr. Masochist. Mr. Masochist is ridiculous. So, LAD has a lot more unique Poundmates than Infinite Wealth. Infinite Wealth actually makes it so your Poundmates all have a flat same damage of 1000 when you get to the silver level. But that also means that they are all different elements. So with Infinite Wealth's Poundmates, you actually get to keep a lot of them for longer. There's our last cap statue. Perfect. So with Infinite Wealth, your Poundmates stay in circulation for a lot longer, which is kind of nice. But they lose the uniqueness that they have from this game. Now, Mr. Masochist, he gives you extra defense. And I mean an absurd amount of extra defense, to the point that you can do fights 20 levels under-leveled. Hello, Mr. Masochist. Call him Mr. Masochist. Start skip a couple of times, then start skip, do not start skip this. There is speed tech in this fight, and it's weird. I'm gonna demonstrate. That's the speed tech. That's your Mayhem. You cannot damage Mr. Masochist. You need to convince the game that you've tried. However, by using Tag Team Master Mayhem, there is supposed to be a 10-second delay between Joyful Jig and his second turn, which for some reason, by using Tag Team Master Mayhem, it just skips. No idea why. One of those things. It took us like 4 years to figure that out for some reason. For some reason, we used to attack with Itchy and then use Dart Airstrike with Eri. And then we kind of realized, what if we just used Tag Team Master Mayhem? I just did it in a run and just realized, wait, why did that skip the animation? There we go. So we're going to go into the Popo to carry on Mr. Masochist. We're going to speak to you and get our Kappa statue reward, which is 2 million yen. 2.950. We have way more money than we should do, actually. By a good factor of like 5,000 at this point. So that's really nice. Money issues are not existing right now in this run. So we can't do any physical damage to Mr. Maskis, so we do mental damage by taking his mother over to him, which... Ouch. Sorry, dude. With this fight, we are going to coerce this guy on the left to die to Dart Airstrike. Because the guy likes to not die to Dart Airstrike, but now he will die to Dart Airstrike. He would have died with that crit anyway. Unbelievable. We get Jobby XP item, but that doesn't matter. We're just here for Mr. Maskist. And flashing light warning, we are going back to the blacksmith. So flashing light warning, chat. This one's a much bigger one. This one's a much, much bigger one. We're going to use that 2 mil we just got to get the blacksmith up to level 3. And then we're going to make our weapons into almost endgame. So strengthen, cards by 2, ouch by 1, shield by 5. Importantly, the table sparkling by 8, not the voltaic yellow. This route uses the table sparkling, not the voltaic. And lightning bandages by 1. You might think that, hey, we don't have anyone that uses the lightning bandages. We're going to optimize Itchy. That's actually not bad. Because that should have been on Adachi, but that actually works out. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, you might think, hey, the lightning bandages, we don't have anyone we're using that on. Yeah, don't worry about that. No, don't worry about that. That's future-proofing. Please no late fight spawn in Chinatown. I think I see it, actually. I do. If they keep going far enough, we can just despawn them in the air with the vending machine. I'm going to slow down a second so I can get to the vending machine without them seeing me, and then we can just get through Chinatown. Chinatown has the highest concentration of fight spawns of any area in this game. It's bad. And that's the end of that chapter. Alright. Shortest chapter in the game, one of the shortest chapters in any RPG run. It's going to be a little bit longer because I have to fix an error I made back in chapter 5. But thankfully, I have noticed that error ahead of time, so that we're not going to have problems in the endgame. Yeah. We speak to the hot one, which I'm afraid is the guy in the bin bag. That guy. Don't know why he's wearing a bin bag, but he is. And we're going to go over here. So normally we would just go and do the fight that's across the road, but I need to fix the error I made and go speak to Part-Time Hero twice. So when we gave over all the stuff to the Part-Time Hero lady, it rose our Part-Time Hero rank so that we actually get 2 different accessories from this guy. Piece of chest gear called the Parker, and more importantly, the Fighter's Binding. That is the important thing. I need that for the end game. If I do not have that in the end game, we're in massive trouble. Anyway, let's go across the street. We found the offices of Bleach Japan. And we're going to go speak to this guy. Also, Namba's left our party with the Jungi Han boss fight. So the reason why this guy is a pain in the backside is if he hits Itchy. Well, heck you. You do not, under any circumstances, want to go into the fight after this one at less than full HP. Because Itchy will die. It's a giant problem. It's an absolute giant problem. So this is why we got the bento, because the bento is at the top of our item list. Oops. And the first person in the party list to heal is Itchy. And if y'all got any jam emotes, now is a great time. This is Warmaker, because this is Mabuchi. This is our boss, the 2-wave fight. We're going to hope that we do Mabuchi in a specific order. For wave 1, good turn order. We start with Itchy, we use Gary, and then we use Dark Airstrike. That takes us to wave 2, the actual boss fight. Mabuchi is able to do party-wide hitting attacks, and they're really nasty. We're going to use one of our new muscle sodas over onto Adachi. And, you know, watch this damage. We're now putting out more than 1.5k damage. Good move. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see him use this counter. Look at him hitting Adachi is pretty bad. Circa going after him is good. 2, 3, and waiting because he's next to a wall. This will get him to his halfway point, and he will use his skill to get past his halfway HP blocker. With Sayako going after him, we can actually attack the Sayako now and hopefully kill him before he kills Adachi. That would be pretty bad if he did. Need our characters to basically survive most of these fights. Oh, good, Itchy got a high agility roll. We're absolutely peachy even if Adachi doesn't do it. GG. Nice and simple. And that is also the end of the chapter. That's it. That's all it is. It's just 2 fights, the one outside and the one inside. So, inside the offices of Bleach Japan, we see a newspaper clipping of one of the higher executives of Bleach Japan meeting with a politician who goes by the name of Ryo Aoki. And that politician just so happens to be the young master that we talked about back in chapter 1. So Ichi now has a renewed purpose into trying to figure out what's up with this dude. That's the young master right there. Why did he become a politician? And, you know, how come he's, you know, all fine and dandy and all that jazz? Chapter 9 is one big set of boss fights. This is essentially one big set of just boss fights in a row. Pretty good. Hello, Nancy on the right-hand side. Sorry, we don't get you anymore, I'm afraid. So the reason we used to use Robson in the first phase of the Mabuchi fight in the previous chapter, but the reason why we don't anymore is because it makes this fight a lot more consistent because we just use Robson here and that's the end of the fight. Easy peasy. We're hoping for a little bit of luck coming up here. We're hoping for a fight spawn to not spawn in, because that'll save us a good 10 seconds. Ooh, that's good. It did not spawn in, so we get to just run down this road and save 10 seconds. Again, some of that little bit of RNG that can just suck away your time, as I was saying earlier. Fight one over there is fine. Lights are not red. Okay, I need to be a bit careful because they actually turned. I'm going to despawn them because I don't trust their position. Unfortunately, it makes a spawn here, which this one should be fine, but it is quite tight. Yep, fine. And this one lets us move away, so you run straight. Round 2 of everybody's favorite character to hate. It is, of course, Kume. Hey, bud. So remember when I said earlier that we need to fix that hole in our palmate rotation? There it is. Now, the nice thing about using Illusion there is it means that Kume is the only character that means all darts will hit him. Ideally, he does not silence Adachi. Attack is fine. Gonna not attack Sayako because we're going to use paralysis into Tag Team Master Mayhem and that'll be in the fight. Sometimes you get lucky and just have to do that. That was a crit actually, that was very nice. Okay, so we have a little bit of a problem for the next few fights. The next few fights, we want to actually do a little bit more damage. So on Ichi, we're going to take the military insoles and replace them with the superpowering that is unequipped. We still want Ichi to go first, ideally. That's why he still has the boxing shoes on. But more often than not, Eri will now go ahead because Ichi's lost that big agility accessory. Case in point. Because ideally, Ichi goes first here, and then Gary will thin a couple of these enemies out. It did hit one of the ads I wanted, and we finally got our first Poundmate crit of the run. So, Poundmate crit. If you saw that purple exclamation mark on the actual Poundmate's icon, that is a crit. So what that means is if your Poundmate does damage, it's going to do extra damage. If your Poundmate does a status action like Gary does stun, it is guaranteed to stun everyone in the fight that can be stunned. It is very, very good. But it is also very RNG. Reiji round 1. Every Reiji fight used to be exceedingly scary and a potential point of the run to die. These days, not so much. So because we have upgraded our weapons before this first phase, nice and simple. We used to have to hope for a crit from Eri, Sayako, or Ichi. We didn't even have to use the stronger version of Shield Blast anymore. Once Reiji gets knocked out of the Wrecking Ball, there's a special function of this fight, it's a bit of a gimmick. You'll see that every turn, if you look in the top right, it is going to reapply stun every time. Reiji cannot be knocked out of stun. Hopefully it actually goes after Sayako. Good crit. Goodness gracious. Because now we just have to use paralysis bombs. Now, this is going to be where the fight is either kind to us or real bad. Nice crit. What's supposed to happen is it's supposed to be Reiji's turn. But for some reason, the game gets confused sometimes and puts it back to my turn. Now, unfortunately, he did go after Ichi. That's fine. It should only be the one turn. So we just lose a little bit of time. He has an AoE skill. That AoE skill can actually be quite dangerous. But unfortunately, we didn't get the weird little glitch where sometimes Ichi goes first. I think it's determined by whether Ichi or Eri goes first. And I think because Eri went first, it made it so that, you know, Ichi didn't go first. As a just in case, I'm going to make a hard save here. This fight should not be a problem anymore, but this fight used to be a humongous problem back in the day in this run. It shouldn't be anymore. But as a just in case, we will still make a safety save here. Just in case. Alright. This is Reiji round 2, and this time he bought a friend. My friend. Unbelievable. In an ideal world, Ichi goes first. We really want Ichi to go first. Send out the cat. And hopefully, he won't. Okay. So what's going to happen now is Reiji is going to counter Sayako. We actually wanted him to counter Ichi, but when he counters Sayako here, it's going to put his normal turn back several turns. This counter can cause fear. Doesn't matter if it does or not. But you just want him to basically do one counter, either on Ichi or Sayako, because it stops him taking a normal turn, and that way he doesn't get to use gunshot. In this game, cutscene guns are real. They are real, and they will kill you. Gunshot has a chance to kill Ichi at full HP if you miss the perfect guard. Gun attacks are kinda scary in this game, as the enemy are about to find out. So this is chapter 10. There are 15 chapters in the game. Some of the later ones are going to get a bit longer. But we found this dude from Bleach Japan. We're going to start talking to him about a couple of things like Ryaoki, etc., etc. And then Bleach Japan are going to come and pick him up. So for this fight, we're going to deal with it in a specific manner. Start with Gary. Dart airstrike. This will not kill any of the enemy, unfortunately. Actually, it does one. With Sayako, we take care of the enemy that's weaker. And then Adachi takes care of the last enemy. Nice and simple, easy peasy. And with that, it's time for permanent party member number 2. The Hot One joins us, and by God, is he good. Oh, he is so good. And he's hot as well. It helps. So anytime we get a new party member that we actually use with us, we're going to go into their skills menu. We're going to equip head trauma and rapid shot. We're going to go into our gear. Ichi is going to get the felt hat from Sayako, as well as the military insoles, because we need a bit of speed. Jungi Han's going to get an optimize, as well as the bullet of memory and the superpower ring that Ichi just unequipped. Party-wise, Sayako is going to leave the Jungi Han. I did actually do that properly. I didn't think I did. That down D-pad hit was a bit late, but I'm surprised that worked. And then we're going to carry on. And we're going to get to meet an old friend of ours that we haven't seen in a hot minute. Two-wave fight. You might see him in the background briefly during this first phase. With Jungi Han, we're going to use Head Trauma on Bai. Head Trauma is 6 MP and exceedingly strong. If you're wondering why Head Trauma is 6 MP, it is a reference to that move because it's from Yakuza 6. Clever RGG. I don't like that this guy survived a low damage roll. Which means that the next wave is going to start after Adachi's turn, which is going to make this a little slower. Welcome back for the 3rd time, Zeng. Now, previously, we weren't able to exploit Zeng's weakness, but we are now because he's weak to gun. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Now, in an ideal world, Adachi would have started this wave because Adachi's Shield Blast will take care of the 2 ads. All the darts will hit Zeng. Instead, we're just going to have to use Dart Airstrike to take care of them, and then just use normal attacks on everybody else. Going to delay this fight by about 20 seconds or so. Paralysis is good. It can stop him from taking a turn. Rapid shot. We wouldn't have to do this one again if we had the good turn order previously. And we're just going to guarantee we get out of the fight with the tag team. I should do it even with the two darts, I believe. I mean, Barry's gonna do that. You're beginning to understand when I said earlier that Eri is our damage dealer. And once again, the unfortunate problem for console runners, this fight doesn't exist. So we can save load it. This is the reason why on console you need that extra smoke bomb, is for this fight right here. And the next one. This fight can't be save loaded away, this next one, so we have to smoke bomb this one. Console and PC. also noticed that Jungi Han is going ahead of Ichi with the boxing shoes. Jungi Han has a ridiculous amount of agility, the most in the game. I was supposed to save load this one, but thankfully I have spare smoke bombs. I kind of just forgot for a second there because I was trying to think of the box in the corner there. We're gonna grab this box in the corner because, again, safety for the run. This is a premium first aid kit which will resurrect our dead party members at full HP. But we had spare smoke bombs, so we're still fine. That was the last fight that you need a smoke bomb for, so we're all good at this point. We like having the one spare for the late game of this run, just because we're going to be running down Chinatown a couple of times. So, this is Restaurant Row's set piece. This is the HQ of the Liu Mang. Now, we've got one big problem going into the end game soon. We don't have good equipment. There are some characters that don't have any equipment pieces whatsoever. So we're going to fix that. So this set piece has a lot of really good mid-game equipment pieces, which are so good we're going to use them into the late game as well. He needs a tiny bit more MP, which is a shame, so we're going to have to take a little bit of time to grab the heal there. Head through the door. This should be... I need to double check my menu here. Fancy business card over the military insoles. And Eri gets a optimize. Because she needs a little bit of extra defense for this fight. So, this fight is quite fun, actually. It's a two-wave fight. For the first wave, this is going to sound quite counterproductive, because if Ichi dies, it's game over. We want this guy to only hit Ichi or Adachi. Ideally not with a poison or a bleed, that kind of size. Bleed is not quite as bad in this game as it is in Infinite Wealth, thankfully. That's still next to a wall, technically, so I'm going to wait. So again, ideally he goes after Adachi here. Probably go after Jungi Han, so we're hoping that Jungi Han dodges this. But the guard is still fine. And then Adachi should hopefully do enough damage to take care of him with Brass. Welcome to Wave 2. What most people don't know about this fight is that this is a gimmick fight. And once you understand the gimmick in this fight, this is an easy fight. Fun fact, Ichi will never get hit again. I can say that with confidence. I'm going to use a Muscle Soda over onto Eri because the Tiger's weakness is gun attacks. With Ichi, we're going to use a Sengoku Coffee for more money. And then Eri is going to use that airstrike. Watch this damage. The Tiger is then going to attack Eri. And not because Eri is the closest character. We're going to use Transfer Shield onto Eri. We're going to shoot the Tiger with Jungi Han. And then the Tiger is going to attack Jungi Han. If you haven't guessed the gimmick already, the Tiger is going to attack the last person who attacks it. Every time. Now, that's why we need to tank one hit with Eri. Now, the Tiger has two debuffs. Bleed and Fear. And Fear is the bad one. We're going to potentially tank a hit with Adachi here, but this also is good damage if we don't crit with Eri. Never mind, Eri got an early turn order. Perfect. Great fight. Great fight. Very great fight. 165,000 yen because we use the same Goku Coffee. Everyone gets a metric ton of levels. This is why we need people to not die in the run. We are currently like 4 to 6 levels behind every boss fight. So not only are we a little against it in terms of our stats, but we get a mass amount of XP from it. And for the XP route for this game, we need everybody to survive, not just Ichi. Once we hit Chapter 12, Jungi Han can start dying. Once we hit Chapter 13, Adachi can start dying. Stamina XX, 300 health. Tactical Vest, we're going to give Eri an Optimize. We're going to take Eri's shoes on Ichi, and then we're going to give the boxing shoes to Jungi Han. Adachi should be in the slot number 3, and you should be doing your jam emotes in chat again. So, the reason why Adachi has to be in slot 3 is he's our rotating party member, and the reason will become obvious after this fight. But you'll notice that we just took away Eri's shoes. She is not wearing any footwear. This is intentional. Do not kick that chair. Thank you, Jungi Han. Head trauma will not work on an enemy that's on the ground, and Jungi Han likes to kick enemies to the ground with furniture, and it's a big pain in the backside. So, the reason why we take Eri's agility away is because she's too good. There's the counter. We are on a time limit to do a certain amount of damage for 2 turns from now, so that we can get to Mabuchi's half HP again. Now, the nice thing is, even though he has this counter, for some reason he can't counter either fast spawns or head trauma, so it's half the damage head trauma, but it's fine. Ideally, 2 darts hit Mabuchi here. They might not. No, please be low enough. No, not low enough. He is just off of his HP threshold. Like, we're talking like less than like 50 HP. He will no longer take damage. We have to wait until his actual next turn. So this is where you lose a bit of time because we have to just guard through everybody else's turns, blah, blah, blah. Which also means our turn order for this phase is going to be a little skewed as well. So Mabuchi should go after the closest character to him after the end of his turn, which will be Jungi Han in this turn. 1, 2, 3. Patience. Actually, he might sometimes go after Eri. This is good because that means he's not going to hit any of my other party members. He's also going to miss. And he's standing for Dart Airstrike. So even though we lost a little bit of time to losing his turns, that's actually not too bad because we had a good turn order for all of his stuff. And he didn't put Ichi in any danger of killing him with Dragon Breaker. He has a couple of moves he can do. He has one that can cast Paralysis as well. Hey, Namba's back. I wonder what party member slot he's going to join in. Slot number 3? How convenient. That's why slot number 2 and slot number 4 are your permanent party members in Eri and Jungi Han. Because we're never going to lose them. We start by punching Reiji. Do not kick the chair. Thank you. Good crit. We're going to use Robson and hopefully see the counter. There it is. Now this is a little scary because obviously it's going on to Ichi. Fear is fine, but this delays Reiji's turn, which is the important part. Namba, remove yourself for Adachi. That is the last time you will ever see Namba in this speedrun. Now he should aim for Jungi Han, because Jungi Han's going to get a turn ahead of him. You can see how many turns we get in a row with our high agility members because of the fact that we have taken out his turn order with that counter. But as long as he doesn't go for Ichi, we're fine. He might do. He shouldn't. He should go for Jungi Han or Adachi. He didn't even use Essence of Rage. My dude, I was ready to show off. I should have just waited for Eri's turn. That would have ended the fight. Good fight either way. Very good fight. Very, very good fight. You can guard any cutscene attack in this game, which includes Essence of Rage. Now, Essence of Rage has a high chance to just stun the person he uses it on, which is usually Jungi Han. So only losing Ichi there is actually a decent fight. I will take that. That is actually a pretty decent fight. Okay, with this, we carry on. So we do have a slight little issue. For those of you who know, you know in Chapter 12, we need to get to Sotenbori with 3 million yen. You'll notice I'm not even at 1 million yen. This is a little bit of an issue, but that is something that we're going to basically fix, as you'll see. There's a very slight issue. Okay, so we're going to wake up at the top floor of Bar Survive. This used to be in the old route where we would get the Cap statue, but obviously we've already got the Cap statue and we've given over the money. So we're not going to be able to use the Kappa statue money to be able to get to Sotenbori. So how are we going to get enough money? It's a good question. You'll find out. It's a combination of just these fights giving us a lot of money as well. But you'll find out. We have to do a little bit extra as well. This is not technically the closest taxi point. But the closest taxi point will pretty much always guarantee a fight spawn on the way to seeing the village chief here. So we finally get the truth about Ichi ending up here. And this guy knows Arakawa Sr. And this was all a part of Arakawa Sr.'s plot to get Ichi over to this area so that Ichi would be, one, safe from, obviously, the brand new Tojo Omi alliance, and also Ryo Aoki. But there is also something going on behind the scenes with the Tojo Omi alliance as well that we are going to have to explore. There's going to be a big meeting of all their officers, of which Arakawa Senior is one of their bigger lieutenants now. So that's where we're going to get the idea to go to Sotenbori. However, we're not quite ready yet. Chapter 11. I'm going to do a little bit of side stuff in this chapter. We're also going to be getting, because this is Yakuza 7, we're going to be getting our 7th and final party member. Say hello to our boy Zhao. You'll never see him again. As much as I love our boy Zhao, and by God do I love him, he's also hot, the downside is Zhao is useless in the speedrun. Because the downside to anyone joining your party in this run is that they start with a 1-star weapon, which means that Zhao's damage doesn't exist. And to get Zhao up to speed with the rest of our party would cost us around 2 million yen, which we just don't have. Now, we are going to get a weapon for our boy Zhao in a little bit, which would bring him up to speed with the rest of our party. But there's a little problem with that, and you'll see why in the next chapter. So we're going to do an SOS quest. This is another part-time hero thing. Eri should be able to take care of this one with 1 dart airstrike. Hopefully 2 darts hit the Berserker just in case. But usually we'll get to take care of him. Now, our boy Zhao does have 1 use. Even though he only joins with a 1-star weapon, what he actually joins with is end-game equipment. So I'm going to steal his shoes. Thanks, Zhao. I'm going to steal his shoes on Adachi, and we're also going to go to Sayako and steal his Wonder Gown. I also forgot you need the military insult. So the reason why we do this, Adachi has the least amount of agility in the entire game. The idea with all of that agility on him isn't to get him up to speed of our party members, because he just will not ever get as fast as any of Ichi, Jungihan, or Eri. It's to get him faster than the enemy. That is what we need Zhao's endgame shoes for. So we go here to meet the young master, see if he remembers us. This fight is a little bit tricky because a couple of these enemies don't want to go down, including this guy. Fighting system in this game ain't great. Gonna use Illusion. I'm gonna take care of the 2 ads that remain. We're gonna take care of Machida and Takada with just normal attacks. So Jackpot Chip and Shield Blast. Survive 1 round from this guy because he doesn't do that much damage. He'll probably go after Ichi. It is what it is. Trauma into Tag Team Essence of Mayhem. And that's the end of the fight. Okay. If you're wondering why we're not using Pound Mates, we need to save them for the next 2 fights. We get to see the young master who tells us to meet us at Otohime Land, the Soap Land, tonight. This is where we used to do Mr. Masochist's Pound Mate, but we don't anymore. We're walking up here because this is the 5th and final missing person for part-time hero. And if we hit about 1.1, 1.2 million, we have enough money in the run. We're missing 2 million, but don't worry about that. We will get that in the next chapter. And with this, we end the chapter. You also get to hear the really cool Omi Alliance theme that they started using from this game onwards. So, the young master gives us his backstory and about, everything here. And then, unfortunately, Sawashiro is also here. Under the guidings of Ryoki, he wants to get rid of Ichi. Punch this guy. Punch this guy. First fight is Gary. That airstrike will hopefully hit most of the ads. Cool. Impressive. Unfortunately, the 1 ad it didn't hit was the 1 guy that is not stunned or now paralyzed. So we lose time a little bit to him having a turn. We're just going to keep doing our best single target against this guy. And then in fight number 2, that's going to be where we actually have to start considering our MP levels for the first time in a long time. Good. Very good. All right. This is a two-way fight has a boss in it. So once again, there's a single target on the guy with a lot of HP, which is this guy. He walked in the correct direction, which is nice. Just Robson, which will charm the main guy as well. Hopefully we'll get paralysis off on him. Very good damage. Perfect. Also perfect turn order for the next phase. So, this is our boss. And he has a couple of rules. If you're a boss, your name begins with M, ends with A, and is 6 letters long, you have a resistance to gun attacks, which is a very weirdly specific rule that I'm fairly certain is not going to come back in the next chapter. Haha. Hee hee. So you can see he's 4 levels above us other than Jungi Han. We're going to do our best single target against him. We use Gundara for the first time because that lowers his defense by 20%. Now for Eri, who can't use that airstrike, I'm going to change to Jackpot Chip. Because as you can see, it does a ridiculous amount of damage. We still have enough MP for another turn, so on Itchy's next turn, we are going to use a lunchbox to get back Dachi's MP. Because otherwise we can't use paralysis bombs, one of our best damage dealing stuff in this fight. So this is where we start using these lunchboxes that we made way earlier. But also, this is one of those weird fights. It's one of those weird fights where, for some reason, if Itchy uses his tag team, it misses. No idea why. It just does. With crits, Eri, that damage dealer is very good. She is exceedingly good. Good fight. Very good fight. Very good fight. There is a very minute chance that you can die in that fight with Itchy, but it requires Matova to hit you with everything and also drop your defense for the first attack. So it is incredibly low % chance to die there, but there is that chance. You will also use that lunchbox to get your HP MP back, so it's not likely, but there is a chance. 2 chapters ago, one of the bosses we beat actually gave us access to this area I mentioned back in chapter 4. We have gotten unlucky. If you were on console, this would be worse. That guy is one of our rare honk honk people, and he is blocking the item that I need. Now, the nice thing is, we're running this on PC. I'm gonna grab 3 of these safes. The accessory that we first got is for HP. The Blessed Armor is for armor, and Silver Katana is for the bodyguard class. So how do I get this item past this guy, because he's in the way? We save load him out of existence. Again, if you're on console, you can't do that. If you're on console, you would taxi away and then taxi back. Thank you very much. Okay, so Eri gets an optimize, including the, I've lost it, Gambler's Sai, her EXP item. Jungi Han gets an optimize and gets Itchy's boots. Itchy, you get an optimize, you get the business card over the superpower. And then Eri, this is going to seem a bit weird, you're going to lose that helmet. Oops. Helmet not allowed. Helmet absolutely not allowed. All right. We're going to run backwards and we're going to do the second part of the SOS quest. We have... Oh, that's a bad fight spawn. We have 3 dirty little speedrun secrets for this run. The first one is Mr. Masochist. This is number 2. If you're struggling with this chapter, because this chapter is going to herald in the end game, and it's where the run gets exceedingly hard and the game gets exceedingly hard, follow along with our tips, because trust me, they will help a lot. This guy in the middle does not die to a dart airstrike, so we're going to coerce him to die by hitting him with Itchy first. Nice and simple. The whole point of this is to unlock the 3rd SOS quest, which will be the next one. But whilst we're also down here, we're right next to this sub-story we started ages ago, which is the second-hand shop. Cooperate.
Easy.
Bottom option. Start skip here, and then do not start skip again, because it is a longer load than the actual cutscene itself, and doesn't count towards the load remove. This guy is very low-leveled. His name is Gomi. Trash. If we use head trauma, man dies in the background. Remember what I said earlier? There's a reason we're on the Japanese dub instead of the English dub. It's this. The text box before the flame amulet, for some reason, does not exist in the English dub. So Japanese saves you 15 seconds. Sell both staminans, or all our staminans. Tactical helmet and the silhouette katana. The watch, the ring, scorpion, and the platinum ore. With that, we're now at 3 million. Perfect. We can now get Sonbori. And we're gonna make a safety save, because this fight can go wrong, and we need it to not go wrong. So, this is SOS quest number 3, and the guy in the middle might be familiar if you've done 100% of this game. This is the Invested Vagabond. This is LED's version of Dragon Quest Metal Slimes. They do not take actual damage, they take hit-based damage. So what we want to do is get Kurami Drink over to Adachi, then we're going to go and Ice Spreader and Rapid Shot this guy, and there he goes. With this, I will show you what EXP we get at the end of this fight. So I'm going to leave it on screen for half a second. Look at the left-hand side of the screen. A base 500,000 EXP. For those that have their job EXP items, nearly 1 million job EXP. For Adachi with the Kiwami drink, way more EXP. From that fight alone, we went from levels 32, 33 to 38, 39. That is our secret to leveling fast. We don't need to grind. We don't need to grind whatsoever. If you're doing this casually, you can absolutely put a Kiwami drink onto everybody. But in the speedrun, we only need it onto Adachi. Jungi-Han needs to survive until a couple of fights into this chapter. Adachi needs to survive every fight until the next chapter, but by giving him the Kiwami drink, he will get one of his essence attacks early, much in the same way we're trying to get one of Jungi-Han's essences early. When we go to Sotenbori, we need a bare minimum of 90,000 yen, or the run's dead. 132 is about 10,000 yen higher than you will usually have at this point, so money is good. The reason is that we need to start rotating pound mates, but we're going to make a little bit of an expensive purchase before then. And it's going to be speedrun secret number 3. Not a lot of people know that what we're actually going to buy is that good. But it is. Expensive, but very good. We're going to use some of our other gold safe keys to start opening some of these gold safes around Sotenbori. We're going to get the Mirage coat. We're going to head over to this part of town. This is where you can get another Hong Kong person spawn in. And ironically, I've had really good Hong Kong luck for what would be all sub-stories. Well, this is not all sub-stories, it's any percent. We open this safe with the Reverie shoes, which, as you can probably guess because they're rainbow-colored, they are very good magic items. I'm going to go get one more magic item. In the old route, we used to get this after the Battle Tower, but we're now going to go get it pre-Battle Tower, because for our optimizations, it just works out better now. The rainbow hat. We're going to go to Bunzaemon Outdoor Mall, and we're going to make a very quick purchase. Now, be very careful in this bit. When enemies spawn in, if you see a singular enemy, they are level 50. You'll notice that we are levels 38, 39. We are very far behind in levels, because Sotenbori is a wall. Oh, I'm here to buy 2 rocket launchers. 60,000 yen. We're going to do a big menu. Ichi gets himself Essence of Rose Siphon. We replace Jackpot Chip with Lucky Punch, and we put on Divine Shot. Ichi then gets a Optimize, and we taxi to the Battle Tower. You have to go and visit the Battle Tower for story purposes. However, in the speedrun, we're going to do 10 floors of the Battle Tower. It is necessary for equipment and money to survive the run. So we're going to head back in. You can consider this a grind, but it is actually genuinely important for the run, so I don't consider this a grind. People do not like doing the Battle Tower when they get to Sotenbori. You should. You get a metric ton of materials in here for new gear pieces, which will make you a lot stronger. Pay attention to where the peer reviewers are. Front and back. Perfect. Just launch it. Welcome to the rocket launcher. Yes, that did damn near 2k damage to everybody it hit. This includes bosses. Rocket launchers are ridiculous. So we have changed up the battle tower a little bit in recent years. We used to use the rocket launcher on this floor as well, but we have a little bit of a problem hitting the free enemies that we need to hit because of the guy on the left. So we do things a little bit different now, and instead we use Robson on this floor instead of the next floor. We're hoping for a high damage roll so that 2 of these enemies will die, but I think Kawaguchi's going to survive this. Don't. Perfect. Because now this fight dies to brass bronze. Very good. Itchy levels. We now need to keep an eye on Itchy's MP going through these floors because Itchy will not have enough MP to keep casting Essence of Rose Typhoon. So because we used to use Robson on the 3rd floor, instead what we have done is supplement it by putting the rocket launcher on this floor instead. And you can see it's a lot more consistent with the previous floor and a lot more consistent with this floor as well. We only need to hit the guy in front. Like, we don't have to, like, hit any other specific enemy. And this is the other reason why Eri needs to go 3rd in the turn order, is because there should only be 1 or 2 targets left for Dart Airstrike. Levels 40 on both Adachi and Jungi Han. And this is the point that we have been working towards for the last couple of hours. I said earlier, we're going to get to a point where we start using a lot of cutscene attacks. What we're going to start using is a specific combo that we used to use a lot more in this run until we got our essences earlier, called DRD. Divine, Rose, Darts. That's the big reason Eri needs to go last. Now, unfortunately, despite all of our shenanigans in trying to make Eri go last, Eri will still sometimes go ahead of Itchy because, again, agility is just a suggestion in this game. Jungi will always go first. Like, with those boxing shoes and his latent agility, Jungi will always go first. Now, this fight is important. Pay attention to the spawn. We're looking at the guy on the left. Divine Shot does a little bit more damage to the person you cast it on, so do it on the strong arm instead. Crit helps. Itchy now no longer has enough mana for another round of Rose Typhoon. He needs 80, and he will not level from this fight. So at the end of this fight, we get the Viking Helmet, which is very good. We're going to use a Top Sake on Itchy because it's 50 MP. Doesn't make him completely drunk. We're going to start grabbing some of these items. That's a weapon for Zhao. But you heard me say that we don't get a weapon for Zhao, and that would actually be the strongest weapon for Zhao for the run, which would put him in contention. Well, that weapon sells for 1,000,000 yen, so I need it. DRD, this is a very special floor where every physical attack is a crit, hence why those will crit and Rose will not. But Dart Airstrike will. I'll take care of this guy. Itchy levels. Gets his MP back, and so we don't need to do any more. You'll also notice that we're picking up certain gear on certain floors. This is just professional overalls. This is just a good piece of gear for, you know, our body because we don't have that much for the run. This will help us survive what's coming up. What's that? In an ideal world, you can just use Robson and get out of this fight, but sometimes King Joe can be a bit of a pain in the backside. So we're going to try and head trauma him. This can also miss, so he can actually dodge it. Fair enough. We should be fine, but just in case, we'll see. This will take care of everyone but King Joe. And then we'll just use that airstrike, which I think he is actually resistant to. Yep, good crit. With this, Jungi-Han gets job level 22. And that makes our boy Zhao absolutely useless. Because our boy Zhao would have only one good thing going for him, which is knife attacks. And Jungi-Han just learn a cutscene knife attack with more damage than Zhao can do. So that's the other reason why Zhao is just surplus. See? Ideally, that airstrike behaves and hits the guy on the left twice. Or just kills. Yeah, that's fine by me. So, fun fact about the battle tab. We used to go to floor number 11, because floor number 11 has the Hariti's amulet that I've been talking about. The amulet that despawns every fight spawn in the game. But there's only 2 other spots where fight spawns can actually be a problem. So we don't need it. Sometimes Eri will go slower than the wheelman here, which is the other reason why we use the old Essence of Phantom Drive, but we don't need to. That's floor 9. The levels for Zhao and Namba do not matter at this point. It is just Ichi, Eri, Adachi, and Sayako. And then floor 10 is where we get the last items that we need. We don't even need Jungi Han for this fight. This is one of like 2 fights in here where if Eri goes ahead of Ichi, it's fine because there's only 3 enemies. If not, throws into darts. Alright, with that, we clear the clear condition for this floor, which gets us a weapon for the chef class, which we're obviously not using. The Damascus Ladle, which also sells for 1 million. And this weapon also sells for 1 million. The Dragon Knuckles, which is obviously a weapon for Jungi Han, but they're also stronger than the lightning bandages. They have a special thing on them that allows them to do extra damage, an extra, I believe it's 10% damage on strike hits, which is head trauma. So they're actually very, very good. But we will be selling them at the end of the game. Alright, we're going to go to Ebisu. We're going to go sell those 2 weapons that we can and also grab ourselves 2 more rocket launchers. Thank you very much. That's guns. Guns are bad. Unironically. Sell the ladle. Not the Dragon Knuckles, just the saber. And then we're going to make a hard save because welcome to the end game. Every single boss fight from this point on can kill the run instantly. There is a... If we die to any of these fights coming up, we need to reload, because we need the money to be able to progress the story. So, the downside is, if we die in the set piece to the boss, we're going to lose about 5 minutes, because we have to reload this save, and unfortunately, the bosses from this point onwards get genuinely very nasty. We're going to need a little bit of luck. We're going to grab the War God's Keystone. It is a very attack-orientated accessory. It's defense-based in Infinite Wealth. In this game, it's very attack-based. This first floor is on a cycle, same as the second floor. You can get into 3 fights in here before you're kicked out, or 2 fights in here before you're kicked out. But by doing this cycle, we don't get into any fight whatsoever. So as a just in case we get a very good early fight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an item that you can get in the vending machines at the north part of Sasaki Jincho and also in Sotenbori. It is this briefcase right here that contains a drink that gives an extra 20% defense to whoever chugs it. Now, it'll be very rare that I get the chance to use that, but if it's looking like Ichi's going to die, I'm going to give it to Ichi. I'm going to grab this safe here for the Iron Heater. Eri, optimize. You need 2 superpower rings. It should be a Jungi Han. Yep, Jungi Han optimize, including the other superpower ring for you. Adachi, you get an optimize as well as the War God's Keystone here. Ichi does not get an optimize. You get the Gallant Binding and the superpower ring. Zhao optimize so that Eri gets a good optimize there. Menu heal. Use all the fruit on Ichi. And here we go. This is the end game. This is where things get incredibly hard. Guarded Jungi Han, Roast Typhoon, sometimes low damage roll the main guy in the middle. You have a jammy mode, now's the time to use it, because this is where things get incredibly hard. It's time for the Jimas. So, the nice thing is, phase 1 of this fight is actually scripted. As long as we do things correctly, this is a good fight. Hey, look! His name is 6 letters long, begins with M and ends with A. Where have we heard that one before? No bonus on Masochist, but we need to use it immediately. So, Magma will do a normal attack here. Now, every one of Majima's normal attacks can use paralysis, hence the paralysis abilities earlier. Lucky Punch can crit for an incredible amount of damage. Now, the turn order is perfect here, because after we use Head Trauma with Jungi Han, Majima's going to use Doppelganger, which is going to create an extra 3 Majimas. We cannot get to phase 2 whilst they're alive, but if they get a turn, they're going to decimate me. So, oh look, who's next in the turn order? It's Itchy. This is why phase 1 is nice and fixed, because we use Robson, which will not always guarantee to get rid of the Doppelgangers. All 3 of them being alive is bad. So we will use Dart Airstrike, because the Doppelgangers are not resistant to it, and we need to kill this other Doppelganger. Please no paralysis. I love him. I love him. He's so good. I was hoping to hit both of them with that, which is unfortunate, because paralysis bombs would have been better for Majima. He'll get an extra turn before we can bring in Saijima, unfortunately. What's the play? This is the play. Yep. Phase 2. This is the problematic phase. Majima's next turn will be to buff himself. Saijima is going to buff himself when he gets to half HP. We ideally want to get him there now, which we use 2 rocket launchers for. If we hit Majima as well, that's perfect. If not, that's fine. Now, fun fact, whilst Majima is resistant to Dart Airstrike, he's not. So they're both going to buff. Now, this is the hard part. I'm going to take an extra turn here to actually give the Guardian Water to Itchy, because I don't want him to die. If Majima targets Itchy before Saijima's turn, we die. I'm going to use the 200 HP MP, because we're going to need MP in this one to hopefully keep Jungi alive. Rose Typhoon is decent for spreading damage, especially when you can't hit Majima. Because he's next to Dachi, he's hitting him, that's perfect. So now, Blade Kill won't kill me. By the way, you can perfect guard it. With the right timing, you can perfect guard that. We should be good, even if Majima goes after Itchy because of the extra defense. Paralysis is fantastic. I would love to hit him with paralysis bombs, but it's going to miss because of that evasion. Yup. I'm going to use another HP heal in case Saijima goes after Itchy, because I cannot see who he's after. Oh, he just wants to kill Jungi Han. That's fine. I'm okay with that. You have 4 turns until they use Blade Kill again. Well, they want him dead. This is why your perfect guards are important. Ooh, he's going after Itchy. And now Saijima dies because of Dart Airstrike. I'm going to do this because of the fact that I'm not going to hit him. It's not much damage. Good. Everyone's going to survive this fight. Now, the important ones to survive this fight are obviously Itchy and Adachi. Jungi Han can start dying at this point. It's fine. He takes a little more damage to Rose Typhoon. And that's the fight. Great Majima Saijima fight. I didn't even need to use the Guardian Water, but it did help. We weren't going to do any extra damage with Adachi that turn because of the fact that we had to wait for Blade Kill to do more damage to Saijima, and Majima would have dodged Paralysis Prongs anyway. So, honestly, great Majima Saijima. That could not have gone better. Again, if Majima decides to try and attack Itchy before his turn, before Blade Kill, you will not survive. The only way you will survive is if Majima does a normal attack and you perfect guard both normal attacks and Blade Kill. The timing on perfect guard in Blade Kill is about 2 frames. So whenever I get that, I'm pretty proud of myself. Hello, I would like rocket launcher. We go outside. We need a little bit more damage onto Itchy at this point, so we give him the other superpower ring we've got unequipped, and then we carry on. We should now be good until the next boss fight at the end of the next chapter. And then that boss fight is the easiest of these endgame boss fights. Whew, good fight. This is actually not a bad run whatsoever. As long as the chapter 14 goes well. As a heads up, because I know they're wondering about it, I am currently on track to basically cut my estimate by about, that was the wrong thing to do, by about 20 minutes to 25 minutes at this point. Yeah, that was very much the wrong thing to do because I was supposed to use a Palmate to get rid of all the ads. So this happened with this instead. This is kind of bad. I'm sure. Could you not do that to him? I don't need him to get a HP regen because he's a pain in the backside. So what we're supposed to do in this fight is actually waste a whole bunch of money. Because what we actually want to do is use a Palmate we just got. That's the wrong thing again, but it's fine. Which is actually Saijima. Because not only does he get rid of all the ads, he also drops the defense of this guy, so we can just take care of him easier. I should know that because I actually routed this in. years ago. Like 5 years ago. Sir, learn to go down. learn when you're done with a fight. For some reason, that's the harder fight of the two here. Some dude turns up, a taxi driver called Taichi Suzuki. Never heard of the guy. This is the much easier of the fights because you just stab this guy, he goes down, and then the other three go down to Rose and Dark. So easy, I don't know why. That's really weird. That's it, that's chapter 12. That was a pretty good chapter 12. Apart from messing up at the end there. So the reason why that's a waste of money, even though every first pound mate is free, your gold pound mates, which at this point are Majima and Saejima, cost 1 million yen to reuse. Which is a lot of money. There's a lot of money, and now you can understand, where do I have another 1 million yen? Ah yes, Jungi-han's weapon. Ah yes. Now, with it actually not dying, we are very much on track EXP-wise with Adachi, which means that he will get his essence at the right time in this chapter. So, stuff's basically moving at this point in the plot. Daigo Dojima turned up, and anytime Daigo Dojima turns up in this series, something's bound to happen. Daigo Dojima and Watasei of the Omi Alliance came together and said they're dissolving the entire Yakuza, which are the two biggest Yakuza groups in, well, pretty much the entirety of Japan. So, people are not happy about that. Ryooki, using Bleach Japan that are a cover for the Omi Alliance, have decided to take over the Yakuza, and now we're going up against the Young Master, and also Kume, but Kume in politics, not in another fight. That guy has finally learned that he is weak to every attack in the game and doesn't want to fight us anymore because he knows what's going to happen. Should have learned that like 5 chapters ago, my dude. This is the up taxi, don't forget. Down one. That one. Yep. We're going to head into this fight, and this fight is going to get determined by our turn order. If Ichi is after Jungi-han, we can use Jungi-han's essence. If Eri is after Jungi-han, we have to do it the old-fashioned, which is Divine Shot. Perfect. Reason being is that with Jungi-han and Ichi going first, it gets rid of enough enemies that Dark Airstrike just takes care of these two. But if Eri is after, she obviously will not get a chance with Divine Shot, with Essence to be able to take care of like the 2 enemies that you need to take care of. So that's why you have to use Divine Shot into Dart, into Rose, and that will end the fight. So it's a little bit quicker that way, but again, it's determined by your turn order. A lot of this run in terms of saving time is determined by your turn order. We get 3 million yen back! Hooray! We're going to use that for our pound mates, right? No, don't get excited. We're paying that immediately to go become a politician. That's the actual answer. We have decided that here in Izazaki Ajincho, we're going to run up for basically the governor of the area by going up against Kume in politics. It goes surprisingly well. You would think it wouldn't. It goes surprisingly well, actually. I'm as surprised as you are, but it goes surprisingly well. So we're going to head to the politics van, and then afterwards we're going to go and take our taxi after that. Lovely jubbly. Like, we even introduced, like, you know, ex-Yakuza, ex-convict, and people like Ichi because he's just, you know, he's got that kind of personality. Bleach Japan start, you know, plastering a home base of operation, which is Bar Survive, trying to besmirch us and, you know, drag up everything. But Ichi is honest to a fault, so he's already said all these things. So, and there's Kume on top of the bus. We're gonna go take out his entourage. We're trying to get to Kume so we can get closer to the Young Master, which we're gonna learn the Young Master has gone off to Kamurocho, as every Yakuza villain does in the series. Robson, please. Sometimes this will take care of everybody, sometimes it won't. Nice. And with that, I've got job level 22 on Adachi. We're going to do a interesting menu here. We cannot optimize Jungi-han because it will always optimize onto him, the actual Dragon Knuckles. But we want the lightning bandages now. Flashing light warning for the final time. We're not in the blacksmith for too long. There's only 3 upgrades we do, but we're a little behind with both Sayako and Jungi-han. So flashing light warning for the last time. So, pouch by 2. 1. Bandage by 2. Cool. We can taxi in here, can't we? Yeah, we can. I lost where I was going for a second there. I completely lost where I was going for a second there. Oops. So the reason why we are changing manually to the lightning bandages is that the next boss that we're going up against, I think I can sneak past this one, is weak to lightning. He takes a lot of damage from head trauma with obviously the dragon knuckles on anyway, but because of this, we can actually just start throwing out the phantom drive, which is a lot faster. Our last instance and usage of Gary Buster Holmes. With a crit. Very nice. That means that we have got everyone stunned. Hopefully we do the damage with shield rupture to get rid of everybody. Sutsumi will sometimes survive, unfortunately. And he is a hammer user, unfortunately. It's a little bit of a pain to try and hit him with a regular attack during, obviously, the previous one. Also, Itchy getting hit there is very bad because this fight likes to target Itchy. So we might have to take a little bit of a safety route in one of these turns. Sawashiro's back. So, this fight, if it goes the way it's supposed to, is very fun because Sawashiro is a bit stupid. Now, unfortunately, when he gets to phase 2, he actually gets some of the nastiest attacks in this game. But for phase 1, he has 2 attacks, and we want to see one of them. So we're going to start by doing our essence attacks to keep him on that side of the room, and us on this side of the room. By doing this, Sawashiro is now going to use 1 or 2 moves. Bar Blade of Enmity or Bar Blade of Stealth. Or the Var Mutilation. And unfortunately, that's the one he chose, which he will hit me with that one. If he uses Var Blade of Enmity, he stays on the other side of the room and doesn't hit me. Now, I was always considering having to do an extra heal anyway because of Itchy being hit previously. Now I definitely need to. Although, we're going to do things a little bit risky. I'll give Eri a little bit of extra damage at first, because I missed one of my darts. And this should hopefully push us to phase 2. If not, we got a problem. Okay, good. Phase 2, Sawashiro is actually terrifying. He gains access to a couple of new moves. One is Cane Strike. Cane Strike can stun. One of them is just a basic normal attack. His basic normal attack becomes a 2-hit attack, and if that basic attack knocks your character or who he's aiming at to the ground, he gets a free opportune attack on top of that as well. It is a mass amount of damage. So we're a little bit concerned for this, because he can just demolish us in this phase. And we need to do a certain amount of damage to get him to phase 3 at the right time. That's not what I want to see. That's definitely not what I want to see. Alright, we are definitely doing the heal. We're going to do it on the next turn, which we should survive. If he goes for Jungi Han here, that's good. If he goes for Jungi Han and he hasn't stunned Eri, I would actually try and do a no-heal run. But no, we are absolutely healing. The other downside to this is that, unfortunately, Eri is our big damage dealer. So we're going to lose her for 2 turns. Probably should have used Metal Supplements with Adachi. Can we stop taking care of that guy? By chance? We can now start dying in fights with Adachi, but it's like kind of scary. I do have the Toughness Z, which I would ideally like to keep for Itchy for the late game, but I need to keep... Why did I heal her? Why did I heal the person that doesn't need healing? Yeah, Adachi, this is my fault. Yeah, this is my fault. Yeah, no, your death is on me. Genuinely. Yep, that's my fault. That's actually on me. This is why I picked up the extra first aid kits earlier. Please don't aim for Adachi. Phase 3? That's early. So he won't use his counter or his regen, which is good, but I don't like this because that means he is absolutely getting a double regen off. He might have to sacrifice a rocket launcher. I really want to save the rocket launchers for the next chapter. Huzzah! Eri's back and can now do damage. Wasted my muscle soda. I can't risk Itchy being hit here. I have to use a lunchbox. Okay, that's fine. Not a great fight. Very not a great fight. Okay, actually. Should be a Dachi, Jungi, Eri. Oh, never mind. I don't need to sack a rocket launcher. Eri is just goated. So this is his regen. He will recover 1000 HP every single turn. He also gains access to his counter now, which gets him 2 turns in a row. But that worked out. So the turn order Adachi worked out there because of the fact that I had to revive him. Wasn't a good fight, because I shouldn't have let him die in the first place. But could have been worse. could have been much worse. And I get to keep my 2 rocket launchers for the nastiest chapter in the speedrun. So I see this as an absolute win. Well, until we get to the next chapter. At that point, yeah, things are going to get a bit nasty. I'm going to chapter 14. The nastiest chapter in this speedrun. You would probably think it would be the last chapter, but actually, no. It's this one. This one is very nasty. So, first 2 fights, nice and simple. Then we get to the problematic parts. We're going to once again use Saijima. Oops. I'll in the menu there. And for anyone alive, that is okay. Camera decided to go into fast survive. Alright. As you do. Okay, we're going to head over to the offices of Bleach Japan. So, at this point in the story, Arakawa Sr. has been assassinated. Ichi is not taking it well, and he is basically in a fit of rage, and nobody can stop him. So, we're going to get all the quickness lemon, actually, just in case. We're going to do this fight against the remaining members of the new Tokyo Omi Alliance. This fight's very funny. All we do is a divine shot, which sometimes can get the car to hit one of these enemies. A bit slow, but it's very funny. And then robs him. That's the fight. Now, thankfully, there's a decent parental-esque figure in the taxi driver, Taichi Suzuki. That's his feet right there. Goes by the alias Joryu at this point as well. Don't know who that guy is. He's basically gonna give Ichi a whole warning of, hey, come find me. Oh god. We're gonna put on the Gallant Binding and the Fighter's Binding. Sayako needs the Magic Lighter. Oh no. So you're level 39. Oh bother. It's not a problem for this fight. Going to be a problem later. Oh, you gave me the speed. Gotta use the taxi. This is our other usage of our smoke bomb. Oh dear. So Sayako is severely underleveled for the endgame. Oh dear. Is there a moment? Is there a moment I can Kiwami drink? Oh yeah, by the way, this guy's called Kiryu. So she's gonna do a lot less damage here. It's not a problem for this fight. It is very much a problem for Kiwami. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. I think we're fine. Alright, we didn't get the early agility roll for Ichi, which is the usual. Please aim for Ichi. I'm gonna give Ichi a quickness lemon to try and avoid this guy's hits. Note that he is level 57. We're gonna use Mr. Yes. Alright, GG, we win. Like, actually, GG, we've won. So, if you're wondering why I'm super happy about that, we have ourselves the crit bonus on Masochist. The crit bonus means that we take way less damage. This is like a 45% damage sucker. Look how little damage I take. Getting the Masochist bonus allows me to push this fight in dumb ways. Hey, remember the fact I have a spare rocket launcher? Hey, bud. Bye-bye. Like that. If you have a spare rocket launcher, use it against this phase of Kiryu. Because Rush can stun with every single turn. Now, this fight is a gimmick fight, fun fact. The gimmick is that Kiryu will only hit your male party members. Which is why I'm not worried for Sayako being underleveled for this fight. 2 turns is normal. Is she gonna have to dodge this? That's unfortunate. That's bad. That's actually really bad. Ooh. I can push in the beast phase, but if I do that, that's gonna be a problem. I need to heal the guy. I only have lunchboxes left. Ugh, and I've been using too many. I do not want to go to beast phase with itchy stun, because that will be a problem. That will be a very, very big problem. Okay. He's not going to take that much damage to this because he has HP threshold to each of his phases. We're taking this the safe way because of the fact that we're doing a marathon run. When Kiryu gets to beast phase, get out of beast phase immediately. This is what we saved the rocket launcher for. But because we had 2, we were able to get out of rush phase quick as well. That's fine. If we didn't have the Mascus bonus on, those attacks would be doing nearly 90 damage per perfect guard. Final phase, Dragon of Dojima. Do not, under any circumstances, do a physical attack, because he counters with the Tiger Claw. Nice, perfect. As a just in case, I'm not going to push the damage. Host has a very special self-heal with Secret Cocktail. It makes you more drunk, so the more you use it, the worse chances you have. But the nice thing is, I don't have to worry at this point about healing. That's why I was worried on Jungi Han's turn. At this point, we should be good. At this point, we should be very good. I don't have the ability to do thingy again. We do. I don't know if it's that cheap. It's actually 50. I thought it was 70. Good fight. Thanks to Mascus. That is not the hardest fight in this run. It's probably the second hardest. Majima Saijima isn't hard. You just have to get lucky in that fight. But that fight's hard. The next one's worse. The next one is the hardest fight in this run by far. Shout out to Jungi Han having 1 MP. I was hoping you would have leveled from that, bud, but that's fine. I'll just fix that. That Tarana we picked up, like, back in Chapter 4. Yep. Sako, do me a solid. Sub out for Adachi. We should only need to have to use Phantom Drive twice. So that will do. Okay. Don't need to heal because everybody else leveled, so we're good. Kiri will always double turn there with the agility that we have. It is very scary when you don't have Mascus bonus. It's absolutely terrifying. The end game, you need to get your perfect guards right. If you don't get your perfect guards right, you start to die. Okay. This fight used to be a problem, but we're actually doing this in a little bit of a different way. We stab the dude at the front. Let me use Majima. That took care of all the ads, and he's weak to knife attacks, you've seen. So at this point, he also gets paralyzed, which is great. You can also paralyze, obviously, Adachi as well. Won't have the damage to kill with Adachi, but hopefully we will with Jungi Han. If not, we have Eri and Ichi right after. We didn't get any crits, so I'd be surprised if this does kill. Unless he crits himself. The boy. And he levels. That's why I only gave him 1 Tarana. And then we just carry on inside. So we're going to not forget to optimize Jungi Han after this. We're going to start with Divine Shot on a specific enemy. That guy. I should have saved before I came in here, actually. We do have the... Don't worry about that guy in the door. He's fine. We do have the auto-save from Taxi Moment, so that'll be fine. I should have made one save just outside of this door. It's fine. Hey, for this fight, hey Ichi, I'm gonna need you to put on, instead of the Fight's Binding, the Dragon's Binding, thanks. You're gonna get your Dragon Knuckles back. We're gonna heal. MP levels are good. Welcome to the hardest fight in the game. You think it'd be that guy in the final chapter? No, it's this guy. This guy sucks. Reiji round 4 is a run killer. I am really hoping that we also get the Mascus bonus in this fight. We need damage. We need damage fast. Muscle Soda onto Eri. Masochist out of Ichi so that we can hopefully survive. Nope, it's on the other ball man, which is not bad, actually. Hey, welcome to the damage with Masochist. I mean, you know. good! Surveillance is useless. He does nothing. Thanks, bud. In an ideal world, we double dart onto Reiji, but this is one of those fights where it doesn't follow the rule of left first. Oh, it did. Oh, good. Fantastic. At this point, I will give a quickness lemon over to Itchy, because Reiji can kill Itchy very fast in this fight. Do I use Robson here? I do. Now, here's the problem. This might cause counter. It didn't, thank God. Reiji's counters in this fight are worse than they usually are. Now, I need to keep a track of Reiji's HP and my HP, because we are going to be phase changing when Reiji hits halfway through his HP, and we need to be pretty much on full HP. Because we have the Dragon Knuckles on, you want to use Head Trauma. I think he goes to second base here, which is fine. Damage is good. Welcome to Malicious Grid. This is the special fear. It lasts 1 turn instead of 2, but look at Reiji's stat increase. Welcome to death. Unless he uses normal attacks, I'm going to take this time to actually just use a normal lunchbox to keep everybody alive. 1 turn. Punch Reiji. Get rid of Reiji immediately. He has to die. I'm getting very lucky. Hey, remember when I said the other board man being the bonus is better? Well, now Reiji has 30% less defense and 20% less attack. Now, Reiji, if you use any essence attack, will counter you with a new counter move called Fearsome Counter Shot. Do not, under any circumstances, do that. It can do, without the Mascis bonus, over 700 damage on Itchy. This is why we have Head Trauma. Head Trauma good. I do not trust my HP. I will not kill him with an essence attack, so I'm not going to do it. If you can kill Mirrorface early, that's also a good option, because Mirrorface does have some nasty crits, but you really want Reiji dead first. With Eri doing double darts to Reiji, he will die first, and it is so nice. This is actually a really good fight for not having a Mascis bonus. So I'm going to start focusing on Mirrorface, because with Itchy, we have a Roast Flame that hits both of them. This will kill Reiji, so he won't counter. And at this point, we're safe. At this point, we are completely safe. Yeah, no gunshots is absurd. This was a very, very good Reiji fight. The run knows it's as part of a marathon, so it's being nice. The downside is you can't say it's being nice until we get to that fight in the ending. This is faster. Good Reiji fight. Really good chapter 14. Really good chapter 14, actually. So my PB for chapter 14 has Masochist bonus on both Kiryu and Reiji. So whenever I come back to this chapter, whenever I'm trying to, you know, actually go for PBs, I lose a minute and a half in this chapter by default. It's absurd. It's absurd how much you can push for damage in both of these fights if you get the Mascis bonus. If you don't get the Mascis bonus, you have to be a little bit more careful, but if you don't have Mascis at all, you lose. Both of those fights, Kiryu and Reiji 4, are time. If you do not beat them in time, you die. You have to go fast. Welcome to the finale. So, we're in Kamurocho. Everyone knows Kamurocho. Everyone loves Kamurocho. So, the nice thing is, we stand next to a vending machine that has muscle soda in it. Thanks, bud. We need to give Itchy both superpower rings again, because we need damage at this point. And Jungi-Han needs to get on the lightning bandages. At this point, we're going to go taxi to the Pink Street entrance, and we're going to go and sell those Dragon Knuckles. We're also going to go get 2 rocket launchers, because you already know immediately how good rocket launchers are. So provided I don't die to the well, penultimate final boss and the final boss, we are tracking to end about 20 minutes early. We're doing very well this run. What did you just say? You go back up there and you sell those Dragon Knuckles. Right, so there are some idiots, you are looking at one of them, that if they are pushing for a PB, will skip this safe. A marathon setting, you will never skip this safe. This is the Curse Substitute. Now, the Curse Substitute has an interesting description because it's not exactly fully descriptive of what it does. The Curse Substitute, point blank, will stop you from dying to one-hit kill attacks. So I'm not talking an attack that does enough damage to one-hit kill you. I am talking specific attacks that one-hit kill you. Now, one of those attacks is on the super boss, Amon. Because, of course, it's on Amon. You know, Amon never plays fair in any Yakuza game. He's always got some cheap tricks. But there is one boss in the main story that has a one-hit kill curse attack. And that's the last nasty fight of the run. And it takes 12 minutes, and we have to get to it. And if I die, I have to reload my save because I need the money for the final fight. So, yeah. This is why in a marathon setting, we will never pass up the Curse Substitute. Never. Alright, let's go. Welcome to the final set piece. Welcome to the Millennium Tower. If I die, I have to do all of this all over again. Which is really bad. This is why we Curse Substitute and why we have spare thingies. Have I... No, this is right. No, this is the right time. I did this right. I'm fine. Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, this is right. Phantom Drive into Rose Typhoon into potentially an attack if anyone survives. End and interestingly enough, the Millennium Tower actually has the highest concentration of fights we can avoid. We've got some really cool tech for this place. We also get some very, very atmospheric music. As we've had to use one, we're going to grab the first aid kit just in case. Because anyone who has done a run of this knows exactly what can happen in this place. But it's actually, Area's a bit surplus to requirement at this point. Like, we don't need her now that we have, you know, all these essences. We do need her because she has good damage. But in terms of, like, these normal fights, we don't need her. These essence attacks, you can see, are really fast because they're skippable cutscene attacks. This is what we have been building up to that I said earlier in the run. This fight, however, we do sometimes use Eri depending on her turn order and the enemy's turn order. This guy can get I think they get a turn. Yeah, Adachi's not going, so I'll use Dart Airstrike. One of these guys will probably survive this. And because we're so low leveled, we do get level ups in here very fast, and there is a heal at the end of this floor, so we can just go wild with our attacks. This is a very interesting fight. Even if you're on New Game Plus and you have maxed out stats, these two that start this fight will always go ahead of you. And they'll always aim for Eri. No idea why. Hopefully Divine hits everyone. It's not going to hit one of the Crabby Sentinels, so this is not going to finish the fight. We're going to use Magimon. So unfortunately, we are going to have to hope that that airstrike hits that guy twice behind us. Never mind. That was enough damage. Alright. And the next floor is going to start our little fight skips. Also, I don't know if you've been noticing, because I've been noticing this. There are two ways that you can run in this game, by either pressing X or by holding R2. But for some reason, Itchy keeps resetting his movement. I think my left stick has started to drift. I've had this suspicion for a little while, but I'm pretty confident my left stick is drifting because it's cancelling my movement. What timing? What timing? Alright, so welcome to the first skippable fight. Do this in the order that I'm doing it. Run to the right, not all the way. Cut this corner, and then get to the door. If you go all the way to the wall, you will get the fight just aggro onto you. But if you do that, it's nice and simple. Someone in the comment section tell me what Mysterious Prayer does, because I actually genuinely have no idea, even to this day, 7 years later. I actually do not know what that does. No idea. No idea. No idea. I think he's building up to like a stronger attack, but he never gets it off. No idea. No idea. It might also get rid of any debuffs on him. No idea. In this room, we're going to take that little heal just in case, because my MP levels are a little low on some characters. You have to start skip because you can actually bypass the cutscene trigger there onto the next floor. Sometimes my furniture doesn't load in. Don't know why. Wish I knew. Don't know why. Probably better to wait for it actually to turn here, but... So, the thing with these set pieces is in this game, there are no checkpoints. RPG fixed that in Infinite Wealth by having checkpoints, which is really nice. This is also the hardest fight in the entire run, in this entire dungeon. Roast Typhoon. Hard fight. Hard fight. Very hard. Not joking around, this is a hard fight skip. This next one. We actually... Itchy, please. Have to skip this corner. Lucky. If you bounce off that corner, you get pushed into the fight, and if you get pushed into the fight, you do lose a minute and a half. So that is actually a really... It's actually a lot harder than it looks. Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on with my controller right now. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This fight is supposed to be kind of scary, but it's not that bad. Because he can crit Itchy, but his attacks are really choreographed. And then we have to use Paralysis Prong. Shield Rupture is not enough to take care of it. I mean, it will be in this situation. Love it when Airy crits. Now, there is a good set of armor to the right-hand side below these stairs. There is also a first aid kit to the right here, but we cannot get either of them because we have to avoid them to go into the next fight. I'm going to take a safety heal just in case. So you can unironically avoid this fight, both in this game and Infinite Wealth. There's a slightly different one here in Infinite Wealth. You wait for them to pass the pillar, and then you just run forward and get into this fight. It resets that fight we avoided into its default state, which is actually behind us. I was actually going to take Kuwabara there. That's my bad. Now look out. Look out. No, I was supposed to survive and drive that guy. Fine. And hopefully, if he doesn't die, we paralyze this guy to stop him from doing the weird turn. Good. Good. Again, because Marathon and safety, we're going to grab the heal here. Stamina and Spark. This one is MP, but we don't need it because we have plenty of MP lunchboxes. I don't think we need this heal, but I'll grab it anyway. I said we don't. That's just an Infinite Wealth heal. Do a little bit of Adachi on Adachi violence right here. Gonna Essence Phantom Drive Adachi. Rose. Dart Airstrike. Fortunately, you got a turn early. Sometimes Adachi just has a slow agility roll in this bit. And then we have to wait for this guy to waltz over here. Thanks. All for that. All to miss. Thanks. Alright, with that, we get to the last floor of the video game. Okay. So we have one fight here. This is the last normal fight of the game. This one is actually a little scary. It can kill Itchy, which if it does, that's a 7.5 minute time loss. He's going after it. Actually makes me very happy, actually. Let's draw with that guy. Let's draw with this guy. If he doesn't die, I'll Roast Typhoon. Getting his extra water. Wait. Wait, none of our darts will miss. Yeah, they have a move called Hand Grenade, funnily enough. You all may remember how good hand grenades are. Oh, hey, there it is. Yeah, that was without me landing the perfect guard. All right, big menu time. Here we go. Okay. Itchy, you get the Gallant Binding and the Curse substitute. Stop one-hit kill attacks on you. Eri steals Dachi's shoes, as you do, and you get his War God's Keystone to try and get some more crit hits. Dachi, you get an optimized, don't you, as well as the other superpowering. That's a health ring. Sayako, your accessories are the Jeweled Bracelet, down here, and the Dragon Binding, which that's going to be very necessary because Sayako is way lower level than she should be because I messed up. Oh boy. MP values are nominal for now. I did take that? Yeah, okay. Welcome to the biggest RNG fight of the speedrun. This is Tendo. Now, one thing we haven't mentioned so far is that there are several levels of poison in this game. We are going to start by trying to apply a default level of poison with Jungi Han, because Tendo is really susceptible to poison. This is a long fight, it's an endurance fight, and we are going to need to basically whittle his HP down as much as we can. So any type of poison is good, but there is a stronger version of poison. And that stronger version, nice, is on Eri. Trix's top hat has a 1 in 4 chance of casting poison. Funtax is not great. We're going to give her 2 to 3 turns to try and land it, because her poison does more than double the damage of that poison, and it's very good. Give me that Masochist bonus again. You won't. You won't, actually. Shame. Alright. At this point, we're going to do what we can. We would normally buff up Eri, but because Eri is still going to be taking a turn to use Trix's top hat, we'll do a little bit of damage. Because again, Sayako is a very good endgame damage dealer. Now, hit your perfect guards. 1 for damage, and 2 because if you don't, he gets extra turns in a row, which will really mess up phase 2. I need to get my perfect guard timing back on because that was not good. Once again, Trix's top hat. That poison. That's ice, which is good in this fight. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna use those. I'm gonna just get some damage out quickly. We want to get to phase 2 as quickly as possible. Okay, at this point, Jungi and Itchy are gonna need some MP, so we will give them a lunchbox. Sayako is our support in this fight. We'll do 1 more round of Trickster's Hot Hat, and then we'll start doing damage, because Eri is our big damage dealer. That's bad. It's going to get extra turns because of that. Could you not? Because I can't perfect guard when I'm on the floor. Thanks. This is why you have to heal. Tendo just gets 3 turns in a row. He can get up to 5 turns in a row because he's Tendo, and he does what he likes to do. No. Okay, so we're going to start hitting damage with Eri. So because of that, what we're going to do is we're going to give a Muscle Soda over to her with Sayako. A little concerned for Jungi's HP. Because Sayako is a lower level, I have to hit my perfect guards. Could you not? I think the idea is to heal instead because of that, but we're going to push for damage. I can always heal with Itchy. It's not ideal, but Itchy is our second support in this fight. Yeah, that sucks. Good, that's good. Hitting him on Itchy is actually good because Itchy has a lot of HP right now. So, now we do damage. I'm hoping Sayako goes after Itchy. If so, we'll heal with Sayako and then damage with Itchy. If not, we heal. We are not risking this. That's why you don't risk it. You can tell who he's aiming for because he will always aim at the person he hits with the first turn. Now here's the wild thing. Jungi Han's native agility is high enough to dodge Tendo. He is the only one on the team that can do that. But we also have a cheeky little thing that can help us with that. I need to not miss that last hit. That last hit is what causes the extra turns. And I also need you to not hit my healer and the person who's under level. Thanks. I don't have any good single target heal, but we're going to need to get our MP back in a second anyway. Is this phase turn free for Eri? I think it is, actually. That's a problem. I need to muscle soda and heal. That's bad. That's bad. Yeah, if she wasn't under leveled, she would have survived. Rezovici. Nice. Yeah, Rezovici. Okay. Eri's going to push Tendo to phase 2, and then this is where the fun begins. Now, here's the thing. We are actually about to start losing the Masochist bonus anyway, so it's not bad that she loses it on death. Phase 2. Right, here's where things get scary. I will have to get her back with Itchy. You're not phase 2? Really? That works out for me, actually, funnily enough. We'll premium because we want Psycho as much HP as possible, because this is going to be our next phase. So, phase 2 of Tendo is the scary part. The phase 2 of Tendo, he gains 2 new attacks, the left hand and the right hand. With the left hand, it is a giant crit that can almost one-hit kill any of your party members without Masochist bonus that's about to run out. With the right hand, that is your curse one-hit kill attack. Remember, if Itchy dies, it's a game over. Unironically, we want him to aim right hands at Itchy because of the curse substitute. Now, there is giant misconceptions when it comes to... What? What? I'm gonna say it. In my 6 years of running this game, that's the wrong person. She's got good magic, good physical damage now. My 6 years of running this game, I have never seen that happen before. What I think happened is, unironically, I think the poison just kicked him out of his attack. Oh, the left hand. Now, this is the problem, is he has both of his hands in a row. So we don't have any way of dealing with these if we get the right hand onto somebody that doesn't want it. That's a perfect guard, by the way. Okay. Because I messed up, we're going to rectify this by giving Muscle Soda with Itchy onto Eri. Right hand Itchy, you won't. He didn't. The right hand is called God's Warning. And again, the problem with this turn order is he is going to demolish me. I have no heals in between. Okay. Psycho, I'm going to get you to heal here, I think. We're going to play this nice and safe. I love Psycho with her attack. It's great. This should be turn 2 for Eri Dart Airstrike. Not getting any of those crits. Ooh, there it is. So here's the good thing. I'm going to try and avoid it. With his latent agility, and with the extra 30% agility evasion from Quickness Lemon. No. Oh, and the left hand onto my damage dealer. Stop. He's being a pain. He's doing it. So let's talk about the rules for the right hand. The right hand is not a guaranteed insta-kill. There is, again, a common misconception from people out there that you can perfect guard and it stops it. No, that is not what happens. It just has a flat 20% chance to miss. I'm actually going to push damage on Jungi as well. That's fine. Because Jungi also gets a damage buff on Battle Drive with this. This is fine. I need to heal Eri, but I also need to reapply her damage buff. I think we heal. I need everyone alive. And this will be Psycho's last turn in this fight. More than likely. I'm going to Muscle Soda with Itchy onto Eri. Good. Good. That's fine. One right hand is good. If you're wondering how bad I have had this fight, and remember the right hand is a one-hit kill attack, my record is 12. I wish I was joking. I'm very much not. I had to rely on both Namba and Zhao to get out of the fight. So, by changing Psycho out, it's going to default over to Eri, to Ichi's turn. So, Tendo's going to try and go for Ichi. Probably guard this, but it's fine. Wasn't enough. Shame. So, we want Adachi for the next fight. And technically, we do not get a menu before the next fight. That is the scariest fight done. We're all good. Honestly, not the worst Tendo fight. Not a good, not a great one. But not the worst Tendo fight. We'll take that. Now, you do have a 1-frame window to try and get into your menu here, which ideally we can, because that means we can potentially make the one cycle for this fight a lot more consistent. But it's so hard to do. Yeah, didn't get it. Tendo drops you with the Champion's Ring, which is a mass increase on your damage, which we can put onto Ichi. We need the turn order to be Jungi, Ichi, Eri, Adachi. And then we also need to land crits. So, it's a lot of stipulations. No, this is going to be bad. Alright, never mind. So, we'll still do the fight as normal. But essentially, with Ichi going first, we're going to land Saijima in this fight to drop the Young Master's defense. Yeah, we're not getting any crits anyway. There's the counter. This is why we don't want Ichi on low HP from the last fight. But by lowering the Young Master's defense, he's going to summon one round of backup, and ideally, if you get good hits with crits, you can actually stop him doing a second round of enemy backup. But that's very hard to do. You basically need the right turn order, which we just didn't get. You also need Eri to start hitting these crits, which she didn't hit that many crits against Tendo, which is unfortunate. Or here. Yeah, one other pal mate. This Taichi Suzuki Joryu Kazuma Kiryu guy. Yeah, we're not going to do enough damage. Yeah, we're definitely not now. We needed to basically crit every hit there and both of these paralysis prongs. So he should run away if he's low enough HP, but he's not, so he calls backup instead. So this is just going to make this fight last a tiny bit longer. Here's what it is. We start doing our best, like, multi-target stuff here. Do not. Thank you. Appreciate you. Gonna hit you with a dart airstrike now. So yeah, we do our best multi-targets at this point. This is going to get rid of most of the ads at this point. He's already gone, but I'm going to do this just in case. Junki-han getting 2 turns in a row? Stop that. Stop that. He's done. Man's done. He's got to run away now. There he goes. Now, if that was me, I wouldn't have had enough space to run, so I call shenanigans, Dragon Engine. With this, 1 fight left. So, Ichi, we're going to put on... This is not a guaranteed win, by the way. I have died to this fight previously. Wait. Oh, I think this fight's about to go faster than it normally does. I've just realized something. That Tendo fight was very, very good, despite me not doing something in that fight that I should have done. Oh, young master, you have no idea what's about to happen to you. It's going to be worse than usual. Now, you see, he has a gun, but I have something stronger than a gun. Time is not after the end of this fight, it's after the 3rd or 4th QTE. I'll point it out when it's coming. Now, the thing that I have that's stronger than the young master's gun is a cat called Robson. I told you we'd be using him until the end of the game, didn't I? But also, I do have 2 rocket launchers when I should have 1. Oops. You're supposed to use 1 rocket launcher to try and do enough damage to knock Tendo out of one of his early hands, but when the screen glitched like it did, that's the effect of you using the rocket launcher. So I kind of forgot. So this fight just went way faster than it should. Now, if the young master is next to a wall, you get a slower version of this skill, unfortunately. But if he's not, you get the quick skill. That's the slow one. Oh, I'm never going to have an easier young master than that one. Goodness gracious me. Goodness gracious. Alright, so, count along with me. Time will be on the third QTE, so. Takes a while to get there. One QTE. I'm gonna pause for a second on the second QTE because this is quite funny. Has anybody in chat ever seen the classic anime that goes by the name of Dragon Ball Z? Because Ichi is now powering up to Super Saiyan levels to be able to take care of the young master. If you don't get it, he just keeps powering up. 2 QTEs. Ha ha ha. And the third and final QTE. And that time. Good run. Actually, very good run for a marathon. I'm very happy with that. Whew. Tendo mostly behaved. I'm a little surprised about that. Yeah, I was a little worried when I realized. So when I took out Sayako for Jungi Han back in chapter 10, what we're supposed to do is put the EXP item onto Sayako at that point, and then in the background she carries on getting EXP at the same level as everybody else. Didn't do that, so Sayako had a couple of job levels less than she should have done, which was a little scary. But with our new strat where we have her be the main support instead of Ichi, she gets the dragon binding instead of Ichi, which means she gets more HP from that. So that kept her a little bit more safer, even though Tendo focused on her quite a bit. Also, one right hand. I can't complain at one right hand. Yeah, GG. That's it. That's GG. This run is very hard to get a good time in, despite the fact that, you know, a lot of the early game and late game strats are very similar. Like, you do mostly the same thing per fight, but when you hit up the late game, things can just take a nasty turn with enemy turns, when they go, when you need to heal and stuff like that. We got very lucky with chapter 14 getting Masochist defense bonus against Kiryu, very nice. Reiji, no gunshots is absurd. I've never seen a more complacent Reiji fight in my life. We had one crit from Mirror Face. Like, that was one of the best Reiji fights I've ever had in my life, and I'll never see it ever again. Because that's the way that fight goes. That fight is terrible. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you to RPGSU for having me. I think Big Nono was supposed to be up next with Yakuza Kiwami, but I think unfortunately he has had to pull out. But you will get a little bit more RGG shenanigans later on. I believe it's going to be Kingdom Hearts up next. After Kingdom Hearts is going to be another RPG game in the Lost Judgment DLC, Kaito Files, which is a very small bite-sized run that's about an hour long, but is also Dragon Engine and is also very, very good fun to watch. Has some very cool strats. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of the marathon you still have today and tomorrow left.